streaming.
Metaphysics is going to have to be the quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely.
Yes, 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 indeed. We are in the house. Somebody's got some crazy clicking sound going on. There it's gone now.
My bad. I was playing the stream.
Oh, word.
I was like, "What is that noise?"
Word. So we here. We in full effect. How was everybody's week?
Lovely, lovely.
Beautiful.
Some of my trees are dead.
Mm. Yeah, they got pushed over by the hurricane winds.
They were tiny little cute little babies. Little tiny little babies. They never had a chance. I did not factor in hurricanes when I planted them.
Yeah,
But
this is part of
It's
the
gotta be a
process.
factor in Florida.
Yeah,
the banana tree is strong. The banana tree and its baby are fine. It got the top ones are broken. Like it's shorter than it was pre-storm, but
yeah.
it's alive, so I'm thankful. But the tangerine tree and the cherry tree might be done.
Mm. Well,
They might be done.
so they just got uprooted.
Yeah, they got knocked over pretty bad and they were looking pretty ugly. So I don't know if they got like cracked near the bottom. Like I took a little post to put them upright and put some soil on them to kind of readjust them and get them upright again, and hopefully they'll be all right.
Yeah, that happens, man. I've been through it. Of course, you kind of go through this shit over the years. The longer you in it, the more different things you get to experience. But what I would say is prune the top part of it pretty heavy, because
Hmm.
whenever you prune the tops of trees, it develops more roots. So that's a way to rush new root growth, is prune it off at the
Ah,
top. So it pushes its energy downward, and then once it gets deeper roots and more nutrients, of course, feed it a little bit. Get some coffee grounds from Starbucks and shit, because it's nitrogen that's going to produce the new leaves. Even though we're kind of moving into an autumn right now, so it might be going dormant anyway. It might not grow a lot of top growth right now. So technically, this is a great time for your plant to get knocked over, because it's not going to be actively growing for the next few months. It's mostly going to be root development anyway. So that might actually replace it. So I'd say get them staked up nice, feed them some coffee grounds, a little slow release nitrogen, prune it pretty heavy, not too hard, but yeah,
Eggshell's good.
yeah, eggshells are good. They take a while to break down. If you want to speed that process up, you can bake the eggshells in the oven and then crush them down with like a mortar and pestle or whatever. And then you mix that up in a 5 gallon bucket of water and pour it in. So it's all pulverized, and it'll be a little bit more, it'll be bioavailable a little bit quicker. So yeah, feed it and prune the top. That'll force more root growth, and I think you'll probably be all right, because it's not like it was like a hard freeze or something that could really kill it. It'll definitely give it some shock, but I don't know if knocking it over like that will actually just kill it. So as long as the trunk is not snapped in half, and you're not going to get any unwanted bacteria or pests digging into the tree, definitely, man, feed it, stake it back up, prune the top. My ice cream bean fell over, and that's like one of my most sought after trees over the years. I wanted that so bad. Finally got it. It's growing. It's probably 12, 13 feet tall, and it fell over. So we just and I set it back up, and then it fell over again because the wind. It was still pretty windy a couple days after. So I just had to hard prune it. I took a topped it off pretty rough. It hurt to do it, but as the wind started blowing and it didn't have all that upward growth and leaves and branches, it wasn't moving it around and it wasn't swaying anymore. So now it has a chance to actually focus on making roots and digging itself deeper into the ground. So I think that's probably was the best decision. So we'll see. But I'd say give them some care, stake them up, and prune them off at the top, and you should be all right. I don't think the wind and
that's
will
what I'm
actually
gonna
kill it.
do. I'm gonna my girl should be on her period soon. I'm gonna make some plant smoothies. I'm gonna get some period globules, some eggshells, and some coffee grounds, and just put it in the blender, maybe with a little bit of almond milk, I don't know if plants like almond milk, but make like a little like natural miracle grow smoothie for them.
Hey,
They'll love it.
they sell blood meal in the store, which is just dried blood, and it's just a powdered. That's literally what it is, powdered blood, and you sell it in the stores. It sounds kind of vampiric, but I mean, go for it.
It feeds the plants though, right?
Yeah, they love it. They love it. Like when animals die on the ground, and the plants are like, "Yes, yummy." They dig it. I don't know if I ever told you I saw this crazy this documentary about how difficult it was to keep sheep and everything, and people who are collecting the wool and all that. They say the sheeps get out sometime, and there's these bramble bushes, these big ass thorn bushes, and they grow so big because they catch animals. The animals get wired up in them. It's like barbed wire. They get caught up in it, and it'll just die from the shock and the stress, and starving, and it'll just die right where the plant is, and then it decomposes, and the fucking bramble bush gets even bigger. It's like it hunts sheep. The sheep are just frolicking through the woods, and this thing reaches out and grabs it, and the sheep dies and decomposes in the ground, and the thing just blows up and gets even bigger to catch even more sheep next year. So
Damn,
yeah,
nature, you scary.
nature's no joke, bro. It's like, give me that bitch. I'll find something to do with it.
It's ruthless. This is a dinosaur planet.
It is.
I don't know what happened. Like I think something like with the atmosphere, like the oxygen levels changed, and that's why creatures started getting smaller. Like the atmosphere was different, like in the dinosaur age. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but if you really think about it, like if what we've been told is true, like this really was in just an uninhabitable mad land.
Yeah.
Just volcanoes spewing shit everywhere, giant fucking lizards as tall as buildings just running around eating shit. Like this was a dangerous planet when it was seeded.
Yeah. Season 1 was rough. Earth season one was fucking hardcore, bro.
Aren't we a couple temperatures away from like that from happening over again or something like that?
Well,
I think it has to do with the balance of. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that this is the future that the white supremacists are trying to avoid. They want to make everything cold again to trap us in the vampiric ice age. They don't want it to get any warmer, Africanize the planet, maybe unextinct some of the animals. I don't know, dude. I don't know what it is.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think there was a different balance of like oxygen and carbon dioxide, and it caused things to grow bigger.
Yeah,
I think there's something to that. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
because they
I'm
said
not
insects
exposed.
used to be bigger. From what
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
right
Oh
now.
yeah. Oh yeah. I seen some
Like
scary ass pictures, bro. Wasps
I'll
and
be
shit.
looking. I'd be like high as fuck on the porch, just looking at like wasps and spiders. I'd be like, I wouldn't make it if these guys were big. I wouldn't make it at
nah,
all.
man.
Some scary
I'm
stuff.
I'm I'm pretty sure Starship Troopers is based on a true story.
Yeah.
There was giant bugs. Absolutely.
Yeah, and for some reason, I saw that, what is it, the super wasp and shit in Japan or something like that. They got wasps. They're just ignorantly huge, bigger than your whole hand. And it's like, we already got. I mean, just a pack of wasps now will make you hate your life, bro. They'll chase you off of anything. You can't kill them unless you got one like you ninja skills and one of those
Unless you got a
electrified
lake.
electrified tennis rackets. Now they'll wait for you. If you jump underwater, they'll wait for you, bro.
Oh shit.
If you don't have like a bamboo straw that you can take under there with you, one of those ninja pro. If you don't have a bamboo straw you can take under there with you, like you jump in the water and then you come up for air a few seconds later, they'll wait because as long as you keep coming up for air, they're gonna keep trying to kill you. So
I
you
just
gotta
remember
wait
like
them
those
out.
timeless moments as kids with like searching and scavenging through whatever neighborhood we are, and like we stumble upon like a wasp or bee's nest and they fucking chase us all over the place, getting
Yeah.
stung
Tell
like
the
20,
first
30
part of
other
that
times.
story though. Tell the first part of that story. The kid that throws a rock at the fucking nest.
Right, right.
That part, yeah.
The one
Agitated the
fucking
whole
guy
thing.
that's in your group that agitates the whole thing. Exactly.
No, thank you. At least bees have enough respect for life to die after they sting you. Wasp was just like, nope. This
Yeah, man,
hypodermic needle is attached to my body, and I can fuck you with it as long as I want to. They're just
they're going
evil.
for the shank.
They're just evil, bro. Most wasps, anyway. I got some wasps on the property that I prefer above other wasps, like infinitely, because they don't bother anybody. You can check them out. You go near the plants they're on. They're all over the plants. This scorpion tail plant that I have, they love it, and you could check them out, take pictures of them. They won't bother you. The other wasp, they make their nest under some tree leaves or something like that. You fuck around and wiggle that tree too many times, and they come out like freaking murderous. I can't stand them, bro. There's only a few things that I have emotions to eradicate. Like I know I shouldn't. I know they play a part in the whole. Like I get it, but like fire ants and most wasps, I would gladly just take you off of here. 100% completely take you off of here. I've yet to find a reason for fire ants to exist here, actually, because it's one of those invasive species. I think the French or somebody brought them over. So blame Europeans for sure. But
Always blame New Yorkers.
yeah, that's just step one. Blame Europeans for whatever the problem is. That's where you start. Just blame Europeans. And they brought them over here on some ships, and we've been fooked ever since. Completely screwed. Fire ants will just beat your ass. You don't have to do nothing. You don't have to be a threat. All you got to do is walk around the yard, and they'll just pour out by the thousands and fuck you over, bro. And nothing eats them. Nothing here preys on them. I think there's like a forage fly that they're trying to develop and introduce into certain places, but that could be the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. You never know.
There goes man trying to be God again.
Right, yeah. Well, the forage flies exist in the place where fire ants are naturally. And these forage flies find the fire ants and they lay eggs in their fucking heads. And
Oh,
yeah, they lay eggs in their heads. And what's crazy is I've seen footage on YouTube of fire ants. It's in a lab. They have the fire ants walking around in like a fish tank or something, and they'll introduce the forage flies into the tank, and the fucking fire ants curl up into a ball and hide their heads. They
Because
know.
they zombify them.
They
right?
know the
ones that
drill.
Zombify them.
Well, I don't think it may not. I think the thing just hatches in them and eats them from the inside out.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
they do. They can carry them into the nest. So if it hatches
get
in
the
there,
fuck out of here. And any of that alien shit, anything that gives birth by bursting out of another creature, that's another double Thanos gauntlet. Got to take them off of here. I agree with you on the wasps. I agree with you on the ants. And add anything that gives birth to itself by eating itself out of the carcass of another creature. All of those things got to go.
I'm gonna
And
say
as
it
far as-
depends on what you're bursting out of. If you're
No,
bur-
fuck it. You gotta go. You gotta be taken off of here. And also too, when you get to the point where there's a wasp that's big enough to take a punch, you just gotta burn everything to the ground.
Yeah, kill
When
it.
when you can punch a wasp, it's big enough and meaty enough that you can hit it and it can take a punch. Whatever it's living in, I don't care if it's the whole forest. It all has to be torched. It's all gone. Like I reject the premise that there's certain creatures that they're niche and the environment will change. Things will change. Life will continue on. It'll find something else to work into a new paradigm and it'll be fine.
Isn't that
But
the whole
I'm
idea of evolution?
Yeah,
It's
technically.
gonna continue no matter what. Like there's gonna be some type of like homostasis to happen regardless, or is one insect taken away gonna destroy everything?
Well, I'm down to introduce Hitlerian eugenics into the mix and just start taking some species off of here and make a new world. I'm totally fine with that.
The problem is the deeper you look into things that should be taken off of here, unless you're completely biased and hypocritical, all of your research is going to point at humans first. Because it's like, are we going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars figuring out how to get rid of giant Japanese wasps? Or I mean, I feel like there's bigger threats to worry about.
I have to agree with that one.
They're just, it just is. If you're doing any science
You have
worth
$1
its
million
weight,
research and you're over here worrying about mosquitoes destroying the earth.
right? And as much as I don't like mosquitoes, I mean, there's there's probably some other things that we should address first. Yeah, people have major issues. Humans are the biggest problem, and I completely agree with that. Humans are the biggest problem. The only time, even if a wasp makes a big fucking 50-pound nest on the back of your house, the real problem is probably where you decided to put your house and the color you painted and all this other stuff. Like there's certain things. My neighbor, They painted their back like this. The wasp kept coming every year. They said they would make these things, and they got tired of trying to reach for them and buy the spray. She found something from some Native American person told her she painted the backside of her house or wherever
She
the
got
wasp.
charged.
She painted it blue, and she said the wasp never came back because they can't differentiate the house from the open sky.
Is it true? Did it work?
Yeah, they just stopped coming. They're just like, oh,
Interesting.
that's just sky. That's not even a house. But if you have the sky behind you and your house is brown, they're like, oh yeah, that's wood. Let's build our house on it. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. You can trick animals pretty easily. You can trick animals into extinction. There's a beetle that lives in, I think, in Australia. There was a beetle that almost extincted itself. Like, I can't even blame humans really too much for this, but so the female beetle of the species is brown, and she has like this texture on her body, right? That the males are a little bit smoother, they look a little bit different, but the female of the beetle is brown and it has a specific texture. So the bars where the bars are in this certain place in Australia, these people, there was a brand of beer that was super popular, and the bottle was brown, and it had like these nodules on the glass, like these I don't know, it was just a pattern of round bubbles on the glass, and people were throwing the bottles out back, and the male beetles preferred the dimensions of the bottle over actual female beetles. They was like, oh, this bitch got a fat ass, and they started landing on the bottles and trying to mate with the bottles. And they must have been successful enough because they weren't just attempting and going wrong. They must have been blowing their loads on the bottles and shit, and they were flying away satisfied. And the numbers started to dwindle because so many of the males preferred the glass bottles over the actual female beetles.
This was in
It's the
Australia.
Pornhub extinction model.
Right, right. Wait a minute, is that what they're doing to humans? Are they
Absolutely.
extincting us through Pornhub?
We're coming all over ourselves instead of inside of it.
Holy shit! Oh my gosh! Wow, that's amazing. That's
It used to be
absolutely
$50,
amazing.
$60 a tape, and now
Now
it's
it's
just
free.
free.
It's free.
It's just free.
And now all of a
endless.
sudden, humans are
birth
complaining about
rates
each
are
other more than ever. Oh, men
But
and
in-
women,
in
they
big
can't get
cities-
along.
In big cities, though, the birth rate is really low. Isn't that like the statistic?
The birth rate is low in all Western countries.
But I'm
All
saying in general,
modern.
even like China, all those places.
Well, China had China had this thing where they were drowning babies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I
yeah.
think
But
that might have helped curb the numbers. But as far as like modern, like we run on electricity, we all have smartphones. Like
we
you
all
talk
internet,
about
yeah.
modernity, yeah. Any civilization that's in modernity, the birth rates are dropping. Because also too, it's how you getting your resources. If you're a tribe somewhere and you're living off the land, like yeah, some numbers are getting taken out by disease, but you can get enough resources to take care of things. You know what I mean? Like to try to take care of 3 or 4 kids reasonably now, like that's a lot of money. Kids are fucking expensive. So in the modern paradigm, I just think it's harder to get the resources to responsibly raise children. So most people are having a kid or two or none at all. This next generation, I mean, they're not even fucking, let alone raising kids. And I think
there's
like,
always poor people.
well, I don't know, like, and I don't know the statistics and the history, and maybe there was something precedented, it happened before, maybe in the Great Depression or whatever. But I heard a statistic talking about like there's more people like up to the age of 30 that are living at home than ever recorded before. Just people are not moving out. People can't find jobs, especially people graduating from college, and they're just going back and living with their parents. So I don't know, man. I don't think there's a lot of opportunity for people to fuck reasonably and make children and live a comfortable lifestyle. So the birth rates are going down, man.
It's either gonna be Mad Max, Thunderdome, or Judge Dredd.
Now, I think now that you mentioned Australia, Australia just needs to stop.
Yeah.
Australia needs to stop. Everything around Australia, they have giant bugs and creatures that kill you. Like everything we were talking about, annoying creatures that'll burst out of your intestines. It's all in Australia. It was started as a prison colony. It
I think it should go
everybody
back to being a prison
no,
colony.
it
I don't
needs
think
to
it
be
ever
Walrus
stops.
Island. Walrus Island. We're renaming Australia Walrus Island, and that's where it's going.
That's what I'm
Everybody's gonna be
saying.
and all of these species of creatures that we don't want to fuck with, like
It's
we're gonna
Australia.
deposit them in Australia too. We're like, okay, planet Earth, we're not gonna be assholes and extinct everything, but you are gonna be relegated to this little spot of on Walrus Island. But the rest of us are gonna live without you, and we're gonna be just fine.
There's an anime like that. I forgot the name, but it's the opposite. They're putting the robots were putting the humans in a little corner to survive, but they couldn't have the rest of the world.
Ugh, look at that.
Yeah, so
Meat. Yeah, bugs with meat just bother me.
they're just
Like
having
if
an
I could,
orgy
if
on
you're
this
a
bottle.
bug that I could cook, yeah, look at them just going at it. They're just,
Yeah.
I mean, if they're gone,
Look at the texture of the
who's
bottle,
hurt
though.
by this?
Look at him. He's trying to pipe it right now. He's trying to pipe
He
his.
is. Get down.
So if anybody wants to look this up and look into the Pornhub
I
extinction
remember.
agenda,
I
it's
remember.
called
Yeah,
it's called the
seeing that.
jewel beetle. A
That shit's
jewel beetle
hilarious.
in Australia, and this the beer company decided to change the color and texture of their bottles to save the life of the beetles because
Can you imagine?
it wasn't going to
If
stop.
aliens did that to us.
They're doing it now with Pornhub. They're already doing it.
No, but I mean, like they just like throw something on the ground, and every man just goes over there.
Well, yeah, humans are a little bit different, but not much, bro.
Right.
Not much.
Right, you're not gonna drop a couple million pocket pussies into the population.
And
And
extinct
everything just comes
humans.
to a screeching, grinding halt.
All he had to do was throw a bunch of pocket pussies on the ground, and they just started humping them till they died.
That's it.
No, but you know what? It kind of does. I think it works better with women because women will definitely turn away from men for their toys, for sure, for sure. I think
There's some chubby chasers.
the mechanical element
look-
of women's toys are a lot more successful than men's toys for some reason.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
50-50. I met some women who's not really into the toys.
they're lying.
No,
I'm for real.
because men are
Some
creepy.
some people just like the feeling and the touch. Like
Yeah,
the
that's
toy
true.
thing is just too much.
Yeah, but
Men are creepy
yeah,
already. We don't need to do anything to add to our creepiness. And because we're so creepy, there's nothing a woman can do with a toy that's gonna creep us out. So they get none of the judgment.
yeah.
They
That's
can
true,
have
too.
entire apparatuses.
Just a box
Just
in the
like-
closet and no judgment. But let me have like one pocket pussy in my closet. It's a wrap.
Yeah, you're a weirdo. Meanwhile, this has some shit that looks like gym equipment hanging from the roof with all these little attachments that suspend her in the air. It's like, oh, she's fine.
But
She's fine.
that's
It's
because
just a
that's
freak.
because women, like most other humans, are hypocrites. I saw an interview with a woman trying. Well, it was a bunch of women. It was like one of those Vice things where they interviewed a bunch of women about the same question, and they were asking them about men using fleshlights and shit. And all of them, one of them in particular, she said, it's sick that a man would want to sexually engage with a disembodied vagina. And I was like, wait a minute. Isn't like 85% of the sex toy industry, disembodied penises?
Yep.
Like it's
Yeah,
not like
you
they're
guys
selling
have-
the whole man. You just buying the
Lesbians
cock.
are not lesbians.
But they also have Tupperware parties. They have
Right.
Tupperware parties with dicks.
Right.
They
Cockaware
show off the toys. Right.
Cockware.
Cockaware parties. Exactly.
and what she didn't
Bachelorette party.
see at
Yeah.
all the irony in claiming that a disembodied sex organ was something to be like alarmed about. She didn't see that at all.
You're doing too much. You're heating up a jar of Smucker's jelly. You're getting a pocket pussy. You're getting a towel and basting it with olive oil and putting it in the microwave.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Shit is just.
It's a lot.
Listen,
It's a lot.
beat your dick. Just beat
jerk
it
it
with
off.
your hand.
Just
Yeah,
jerk it
this
off.
is
Wrap around with a towel with your hand.
no.
Use
No,
your
no,
opposite hand. If you're right-handed,
no.
go left. If you're left, go right. So it feels different.
No,
need all this.
I'm even against the stranger. Don't put your hand to sleep. Don't do anything
I
here.
don't know.
Put your hand to sleep. What the fuck is that?
Just do regular, then you don't even know it's you
Wait.
because you can't put your hand. You shouldn't do any of that stuff. No heated up jars of jelly.
Wait,
None
is
of
that a
that. None of that.
thing? Is that like a real? Did you just make that up just now?
No, he didn't make that up. That's
Absolutely not.
there's a name for it. I've heard about that before too.
Wh-
The
Man,
stranger. The stranger.
listen, all of that extracurricular shit for a man is just unbecoming because we are such a and women are amazing and magnificent. And they have their things, but there's a lot of male bashing, and there needs to be some celebration for the self sufficiency. Completely in and of ourselves, we could take care of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And you can handle yourself. You don't need any of those apparatuses. A woman lost in the woods is going to be incredibly boring.
Yeah.
A man is going to solve that problem within 15 to 30 seconds. No problem. I don't need any equipment. I'm out here in nature. Me and myself, I'm sufficient to be taken care of. I don't need any of this goofy equipment.
I heard a woman on a TikTok say that because the new popular, the main popular toy right now is called, it's a rose. It looks like a flower, and it's got like this little suction cup in the middle of it and shit. And I'm sure most people know what I'm talking about already. But she said her battery died, the charge or whatever died on the rose in the middle of her beating off, and she said she realized what she that if she wanted to finish, she was gonna have to do it with her hands, and she said, "Fuck it, it's too complicated." She was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna fucking beat off like a cave person. Either I'm
Right.
gonna use my technology or I'm just gonna go to bed. And it was like, if she doesn't even have the energy and dexterity to masturbate herself with her bare hands. Yeah, I feel like you've lost part of the game. Like, the only thing that you can do is use a machine on yourself. You can't even do it with your hands. You're losing.
The female orgasm is like a Rubik's cube.
Yeah, facts. A Rubik's cube, you got to do with one hand and blindfolded.
Yep.
We're being cucked by robots. It's the great cucketing. Right?
Yeah.
This is the step one
Elon
to
Musk
ruling over us.
presented a little robot not too long ago, correct?
Yeah, he did.
Who?
Elon
Elon.
Musk just revealed.
I thought it was all phony shit.
No, I mean, I didn't look deep into it, but I saw it from a few
Yeah, I didn't go
different
deep either.
sources. But yeah, it says it's on the WallStreetJournal.com. Elon Musk reveals prototype of Tesla's humanoid robot Optimus.
Okay.
Says it will
What is
cost
what
less
is
than a
Elon?
car.
What has Elon Musk really done?
A
Can we
lot.
talk about Elon? What is he's at? Because everybody praises this dude, and they talk so highly of him. He made a car that most people can't afford, and runs off electricity, which isn't free. So I don't know. He's supposed to be doing some. SpaceX still hasn't gone public, so he's not sending people up into space. Jim Bezos has got Blue Earth. Branson's got what, Virgin Galactic. They're already shooting their penis ships up into space and taking people on trips. He hasn't bored holes and made his like I don't know, some kind of new subway. He's making like little teleportation tubes underground. There's all this stuff that he's supposed to be doing
Tesla's
that's
Optimus
supposed to be
robot?
next level. But I don't like all he's done is made Chevy Volts. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. But it's the implication of all the things that he's trying to create. Like, I'm still skeptical about the little thing, the little brain thing he's trying to do, the Neuralink. I'm like, I'm not getting
Right.
involved in
And
that shit.
again,
Fuck out of here.
another thing that hasn't come into fruition. So it's all like, it's all of this shit. Hey, dude, I'm about to do this. All right, well, none of it's happening right now. Okay, no problem.
He's still
The
he's
richest
still
man on the
talking
planet.
about the truck that's supposed to come out.
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. I don't understand how he's the richest man on the planet. And if you really look at it, he hasn't really contributed shit.
Man, he's hit a few licks in the 90s. That's all it is with him. He's hit a few licks in the 90s in Silicon Valley. And I don't know how he became like this polar figure, but like I think it's just because he's a guy
Because
who
he's
has
not.
like all these businesses and like
That's
how
why
he's doing
Polo
it.
is.
Yeah.
He's a visionary. He's one of the few
He's
people.
visionary, but I think he's a little overrated.
Well, he's one of the people who are outwardly taking a big chances right now. He's trying to go above and beyond, and there's not very many people. And I mean, who else in our generation? Who else can we look to right now that we would say is really trying to, even if it's in a direction we don't agree with, who's really pushing the boundaries of human capability, of, tech and how we use it in our life? Like, who else is doing that right now? Outwardly, openly, just trying to change the way the world operates. Like, I don't really know anybody else who fits in that space, really.
Yeah, he's on his own with that.
Yeah, I can't think
How-
of anybody else. I mean, other
The
than
black.
what you say?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say other than like there's some theoretical physicists and people like Michio Kaku who's doing these interviews talking
I
about
don't even know who
taijutsu
that is.
you know what I'm saying?
Who's that?
Michio, it's a
He's like Jackie Chan, but with science.
Elon Musk
I
is
can't
taking over
even-
all these people. We
I
don't
can't-
even
yeah, I
know
can't
the
even
other guys
disagree
in
with
the game.
I can't even disagree with that description. He kind of is like Jackie Chan but with science. But they're out talking about these high concepts. They're astrophysicists and like theoretical physicists and people who are into neurology talking about some information about how the brain works and the nature of reality. Like other than thought leaders, who's out here really hands in the dirt trying to do some wild shit and push the boundaries of technology and how it integrates into our lives? I don't know any other people that I can name off the top of my head right now who would fit in the same category as Elon Musk.
Yeah.
The black separatist in me says that this is the exact thing that got us guns, missiles, and bloodlust. Like this is the path that we went down. Let's push the technology, man. Let's try some new shit, man.
Well, listen,
Let's
what
fucking
Bro, the Neuralink alone is like, if you pay attention to what this man says, he's Joe Rogan was talking to him, talking about, can you manipulate someone's memory, and he's over here like, it's possible. So I'm like, fuck out of here. You're not putting-
No, but imagine the guy.
What?
Imagine the person who gets asked that question and he says, "Oh no, not at all. They'll never be able to do that." And you know he's fucking lying.
That's true, yeah.
At least Elon is like, yeah, that's a possibility. That's not something I'm personally interested in. But once the tech is out here, I mean, look at what we accept incrementally throughout our lives. There was a time where people were completely happy with being out in the world and saying, if you need to, I'll get back to you. I'll call you when I get home, or you can page me and I'll get to you when I get to you. I'll check my email later. Now it's an impossibility to be away from your phone and not have access to every little dopamine drip that they give you. Or somebody liked your picture on Instagram, you got a new message on Facebook, like, so you can't be away from it now. There was definitely
Right.
a time when you didn't have to live like that, and some people decided not to. They liked being away from their phone, their home phone, throughout the day, so you could just enjoy your present moment. And when you get home, you check your messages. Now you tap your pockets and you don't feel your phone, you have a mini heart attack.
Listen. This is people were just fine. People were just fine. And now you're not going to have any excuse to ignore people that you don't want to talk to.
Right.
Like, hey, I lost my phone. Like, no, I rang you in your mind.
In your mind.
There's no
Fuck outta
way
here.
you
I
don't
not
know that I
me.
called you.
Not me.
There's
You're gonna
always
have to.
it's always
I'm
gonna
be
be
that
people.
old man. I don't know. No way.
You're
Not
gonna
that
go to
wizardry.
Australia. You're all the people
That's a
that aren't
deportable.
taking the brain chips are being
Yeah.
deported to War of Asylum.
You got me with the cell phone. That's it. I can't go.
But
further.
that's the thing.
Listen,
That's the thing.
and
It's
they're gonna
incremental.
get you with the Neuralink.
I'm telling you.
Because when nobody has a cell phone, when everybody has a chip, you're gonna be the dinosaur showing up to the party. It's like, ew. You got your chip on the outside,
Right.
like your smartphone isn't installed
Right.
in your brain.
Right.
Right? What kind of peasant are you?
You can't watch YouTube videos behind your own eyes. What the
Oh,
fuck are you
right.
doing with your life?
I need a screen.
Kill yourself.
But that's real. I mean, because there were
But
people.
that's definitely the route that it will happen, especially with kids.
There were people who refused to push buttons on phones because they only trusted their rotary dialer. There were people who refused to use cell phones because of the radiation. Oh no, I'll just use my home phone. And those people just become extinct, or they get on the boat. Nobody cares about them.
Yeah.
The world keeps moving. Nobody gives a shit,
Right.
bro. It's just gonna keep going.
And you could put on your loincloth or your robe and sandals,
Right.
and you can go out to your log cabin and you could do things your way. You could go neo Amish, but the rest of the world, they're plugging their chips in their
Neo-Amish.
head.
Oh, I'm definitely
And-
gonna be a neo Amish.
And 200 years later, when you have your little the village moment and find out that there's an outside world, all of those people they've gone on to whatever new step beyond chips in the head, and they're fine with it. I just think that this is why technology isn't impressive to me anymore. Like all of the gadgets and all of the like yes, we're transmitting information faster, where we have these cool little Star Trek communicators where we can FaceTime each other and see. It's like cool. Well, all of these technologies have come to be, and they're little novelties, and they're cool for about a second. But in terms of like, really improving quality of life or solving any of the problems, like think about how many problems we had 100 years ago that we still have, and technology's done nothing to resolve it. Social issues and things like that. Like I just feel like I don't I just I'm not haven't bought in that there's going to be a lot of value with this technocracy, that we'll be able to do all this cool crazy shit, and technology is going to get to this height, and be able to do amazing things. And it's like, so we jerk off in VR and we don't
Yeah.
see each other in real life, and like the future, and we called each other from our brain chips. Like I don't know, I feel like that's going to further exacerbate the problems. Like just think about social media 24 hours in a brain chip, and you're getting alerts, and think about the Amber Alerts, or the emergency. This is a test
Think
of
about
the
the
emergency
advertisement.
broadcast
Fuck the Amber Alerts. Advertisement's always gonna sneak its way into
Oh,
technology.
it'll be like in Futurama, where
Fucking
you
hard.
have a dream, and they get into your brain during a dream and play a commercial.
Yeah, man.
You'll dream commercials. Yeah.
Cyberpunk. It's cyberpunk, bro.
It's
Well,
coming.
Futurama did it first. That's
It's coming. Oh, and Minority Report. Remember, someone was walking through the mall. They scan your eyes and they give you direct ads. They say your name in the ad, like, "Oh, I know what you need," because all your information is already on file. That's what they do. If you go to the mall right now, go into the mall and only actually go inside three stores, and I guarantee you'll start getting ads on your phone the next week from the three stores that you went into.
Oh yeah.
abs-
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they're
Especially if
streamlining.
you, especially if you're on their Wi-Fi. Especially if you're a dummy and get on their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, even if you don't, if it just senses your
yeah.
phone and inside the Wi-Fi space, you don't have to necessarily connect to it. They're still gonna do it. People have
Yeah.
been talking all the time. They say, I don't have a cat, but I'm gonna say the word cat and cat food. Don't forget to pick up cat food. And they say that shit. Next thing you know, you start seeing ads for cat food. This is what it. But is anybody gonna put their cell phone down? No, because it's a minor inconvenience for everything else that you have at your fingertips. So again, it's complicitous. We like this so much. I want to keep my comfort here. I want to be able to browse TikTok. I want to look at my Instagram. I want to sell shit to people online. So I'm gonna have people attempt to sell me shit. Cause you know what you do want when you come up with a cool ass product or a dope T-shirt design, or you selling a fucking water bottle. You bought 30,000 of them from China for 10 cents each, and you want people to buy them. Guess what you're gonna use? That same algorithm that tried to sell you the cat food and you complained about it. That same algorithm is going to try to sell your product to a person who said, "I need a new water bottle," in the privacy of their own home, and then the ad popped up, and you just hope it's your water bottle that they're selling. So that's how they get us every turn, every which way. You're complicit in this shit. Just because you don't like it when it comes at you, but when it's time, you're going to spin right around and use the same shit on somebody else. And people will have an ad blocker on their phone, and then if they start buying ads for a product that they want to sell, then they get pissed at ad blocker because people aren't seeing the ad that can make them some money. It doesn't make any. It's the "fuck you, hooray for me" energy. You gotta. It goes both ways. It goes both ways. We just gotta accept it. The thing is, accept it and use the shit to its highest advantage, and stop fucking complaining. Or here's an idea: log off, completely log off. You can totally 100% go buy a flip phone right now somewhere that don't have no internet. It's just a phone.
Yes, you can.
But who wants
And
it?
there's places in America that you can go to, and there are like um, artisans that pop up in communities where people are doing like handcrafted shit and making a living.
Yeah.
I just went to like this remote area of the state for um, one of my uncle's birthdays, and it was like it was like wholesome Ebor, like it was designed just, it had like the same kind of like metal works for the railings and the light posts and shit. Like it looked like that same kind of age and architecture, but everything was like all the stores were like local shit, hipstery shit, handcrafted items, and people are out there with tourism and making a living, and is they're not really relying on the internet to run their business. They're in kind of a remote area where they can do something and contribute something, right? And it'll find a place and a need. Like you could do that too, it doesn't all have to be just that's where the biggest swath of the market is going to be, and where you can reach the most people to try to get them to buy your shit. And I don't turn off shit, no ad blockers. I bought some interesting shit. I want to be solicited. I want to be solicited. I got this little drill for your ears to get the earwax out. It looks like a drill to the center of the earth contraption, and it's some like fucking, I don't know, some shit made in Denmark or something. And it's just a little silicone tip, and you just screw it in. It pulls all the earwax out.
Have you been getting the mood ones? I've been getting like a lot of mood ones where apparently they're selling you marijuana through the mail. Like that's the ad. Like,
Oh
and
no,
they're
I
selling
don't.
it.
What?
Yeah, I've been getting like baby boomer marijuana commercials, and apparently you can get them through the mail. So I
Yeah,
don't
they
know.
know you're a pothead.
Yeah. I'm like, what?
They know.
How did they know Doobie was a pothead? How did they figure me out so easy? Nah, it all works in somebody's favor, and the truth is it works in most of our favor. It's just that every now and then you come across a piece of it where you're like, oh, what the fuck, this is terrible. But it's all working together. It's all working in tandem, and the pathways are here for us to take full advantage of it. Some people are gonna go create eco villages where they don't have to worry about this shit, and maybe they'll, and to different degrees too, because you don't have to be, like you said, neo Amish. I guarantee you, like most, like not like a lot of other cultures, but if you took points from the way the Amish decided to organize their society, and you said, I'm going to use some of that, but then you changed it. You said, yeah, we're going to be kind of neo Amish, but I still want to use regular lights instead of candles. But we're going to use a wind turbine, or we're going to have solar, or whatever you decide. I don't think
Yeah,
Amish.
Neo Amish.
I don't think Amish would come out of their hiding places. They wouldn't come out of their societies to be like, yo, this is cultural appropriation. And if you can't be real Amish if you don't actually use candles, like, I don't think they give a shit, bro. I don't think they give
Nah,
a shit.
you think that till three dudes in top hats come by and Ezekiel roughs you up to make a point. Like I heard y'all are raising barns over here.
Man, I'll beat the brakes
Put
off
that-
of Ezekiel, bro.
Bro, Ezekiel wasn't even fuck with the Neo Amish.
I ain't getting beat up by no
Our
Amish.
fucking
bro.
ARs and pistols, drones.
Yo,
That
you rode a
Fuck outta
horse
here.
here? If you rode a horse to my house to confront me, I'm whooping your ass, bro.
Yo, Ezekiel's out there. I see him with a drone. You know what to do.
No, fuck
Dude, I
Ezekiel
want
up,
to
bro.
I want to see dudes roll up on a horse and buggy and four dudes jump out the stagecoach and just fuck somebody up.
And then ride
Just
off.
fuck somebody up. Yo, the Central Bureau has now authorized barn rape.
Nah,
Like you
son.
muscling in on our turf.
Nah,
We rape the
I think
barn.
they'd love it.
We
I
make
think
the
they would.
homemade jellies.
I think they'd love it. I think they would see the world taking a turn in their favor, as long as we don't go to their prop. Like, I don't think you do well moving to an Amish. So like, they probably wouldn't even sell you a house. You probably couldn't even buy a piece of property where mostly Amish people live at. I don't know. I'm not sure how sequestered they really are. Either people just don't want to live there, or they're not letting them. And either way, I ain't mad. If you and your family and people who think like you manage to purchase and own hundreds of acres in one state, that's just what the game is, bro. You can't be like, oh, they won't sell to us. Well, find some place else to fucking buy, bro. Like, they created a culture where they live at, and they want to keep it that way. I don't see nothing wrong with it. I saw an article, not an article, a video the other day about an Asian property manager, a real estate property manager with some condos or something like that in California. And people said that she calls it her little Asian community because those are the people that she approves to purchase the condos more often than not, a bunch of Asian people. So some black folks wanted to buy one, and she told them she don't think they'd be a good fit or whatever. She didn't want to sell to them, so they started recording and making a big stink out of it. They want to sue her and all that kind of shit. And I'm just like, why people always want to be in places where they're not wanted? I get it, the rules and discrimination, all that shit. But they were saying in the video, this is not a matter of survival. It's different. These people are saying in the video, we could buy this place cash. We own these properties over here. We own this. We own 5 businesses. That G-Wagon truck outside, that's mine. Like all of these markers of success and affluence. But you fighting a person to buy property from them? I don't understand that. If you could buy this place cash, that means there's somebody somewhere who would welcome that fucking cash. I don't understand why you would want to make a big deal out of it and start some kind of boxing match over this lady. I don't know. It was just weird to me. It just seeing them argue with her
pettiness.
with so much bread.
Pettiness.
It's not like, oh, I don't have no place to live. I don't have a place to live, and you're blocking me out of a domicile. No, we're multimillionaires, and we want to buy this place, and you won't let us, so we're gonna fight about it. I don't know. I kind of see both sides, but I say take your money somewhere where it'll be appreciated.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I definitely don't want to be somewhere where they don't want me. They don't want me to be at. Like, why would I want to buy property and then I come out and everybody's looking at me funny? You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely don't want that type of.
So you can complain
me.
about that too.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why. So you can complain about that too. So you can further victim. You can be a multi-million-dollar victim.
Fuck out
Listen,
of here.
if we ran all of these AI programs to basically gather all the data for all the positions that have been taken, and then we kind of ascribed a value to each. Like when you see this argument made more frequently, it becomes more pronounced and more valuable and more indicative of the consciousness. You could pretty much create the black dick cloud voodoo doll consciousness, and there's no consistency to it. Like if you looked at all of the arguments being made, because okay, you're not gonna let me in, you're Asian, you want to keep it Asian, but you Google another article and it's like a graduation that's black only, a dormitory that's black only, right? Black bodies and black safe spaces, and we can't, we want people to feel safe, and white people being here is violence. It's disturbing to, our sense of peace, and da 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 da. So it's like you can't get any consistency if you were to say, and of course every case is individual, every person is an individual, there's different contexts for all of these situations, but if you take it in aggregate, right, and you really just try to say, okay, based on all of these stories and all of these public conversations, what really is the bottom line, like morality and consciousness of this supposed identity and movement? Nobody could pin it down because there's no consistency in it. It's just what suits the person in that need. So I want to live here. You shouldn't be able to have your own shit. Don't discriminate against me. We want to have our own shit. We should be able to do that. To try to say we have to let people of other races into our dorm or our graduation is white privilege and white violence. So it's really just news stories that are centered around the idea of how can I get my way and not have to defend any kind of underlying morality that's consistent, So I don't take any of that shit seriously. If you're saying, I'm just dying to live around Asians, first of all, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You're a liar. You're not like, I can't wait to live in this building. You probably heard that that's how she got down, and you wanted to make a point,
That's much more likely.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
With that being said, let's segue to the academics. You had something to say about that too.
Oh yeah.
That was abrupt. that wasn't a segue. That was just a brick wall.
Oh, no, that's a segue. Like, that was a great segue.
When you say segue, that's the segue. No matter what the previous conversation was about.
It correlates with each other because of just the differences of like the academic situation, the different generations of hip hop, and what he said and what really went down or whatever.
No, I agree. I
take that back. Yeah,
I would agree with what you were saying though. Like, that's a good point. He probably that was engineered conflict. Like you heard this Asian lady was selling her condos to all Asian people, and you was like, let's roll up in there and see what kind of shit we can stir up. That seems so much more likely than you just really want access to this property. and it's America, right? You should be able to live wherever you want to live. Like I totally agree with that, but I don't I will never understand why you want to force people to take your money. Are there no black real estate owners that you could go bless up and get them some commission and like why would you want to force yourself into a place where these people are saying they don't want you? Don't they lose when you don't buy it? You said you want to buy
Exactly.
4 units. Don't they lose if you don't buy those 4 units?
Well, I'm pretty sure this has been a consistent theme, whether you talk about Elijah Muhammad or Malcolm X or Louis Farrakhan. They always tell you whenever you can do business and give your money to Asians, do it. I mean, that's been a consistent thread. No,
Always give your money to Asians.
definitely support Koreans, Chinese, Japanese, whatever Asian you can find, do business with them, hand them your money. Don't do business in the community. Don't buy anything black owned. Black real estate agent, black realtor, a black building owner, no, don't do that. You have to buy from the Asian. So it's stupid. It's stupid, but I guess I see your point now. It is kind of in that same vein because you're talking about whose responsibility is it to take care of the old hip hop dudes? And I kind of like that he asked that question, and it was super interesting to me how everybody got up in arms. I didn't watch everybody's reaction. I saw LL Cool J supposedly got upset. Russell Simmons, I don't know. There was a couple others, and
A
I was just
lot of
thinking,
them. There's even like underground YouTube
Everybody's
personalities
gonna take
coming
the
out.
opportunity to jump. That this is
Coming
what
out.
people
I'm
do.
like, did y'all listen to what this man said? Like this man spoke like numerous occasions about what he said, and then like he said, let's get deeper into the conversation. But y'all still talking about he called these old hip hop heads dusty. But continue.
Well, I got the original, well, a clip from his show. It's pretty short, but I do have that available right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that so everybody can hear what we're talking about, real quick.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Them old rappers, man, them niggas, bro. Have you seen any of these old
Party
rappers
ain't
who be
playing
like, yo,
on
they're
our
the
end, yeah.
foundation of hip hop really living good? Them niggas be looking
Oh,
really
okay,
dusty.
let me.
I kid you not. And then none of y'all try to comfort me because I don't fuck with y'all niggas either. So I'm just tell you, I be looking like every time they be like an old nigga talking about hip hop, you be like, yo, bro, you sure you invented this? Because everybody else living better than you.
Okay.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Them old rappers, man, them niggas, bro. Have you seen any of these old rappers who be like, yo, they're the foundation of hip hop really living good? Them niggas be looking really dusty. I kid you not. And then none of y'all try to comfort me because I don't fuck with y'all niggas either. So I'm just tell y'all the truth. Y'all be looking like every time they be like an old nigga talking about hip hop, you be like, yo, bro, you sure you invented this? Because everybody else living better than you. So that's what I'm
He's
trying to
just first of all,
is the way.
he's just hating.
Go ahead.
He's just hating. Like I don't think we need to look too much into it. I
But
don't.
he said he was talking directly to like one particular person.
But he was completely childish in the way that he did it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There's all kinds of issues, right? Where people that laid the foundation for these kids to make millions of dollars, like they did more work and got remunerated less. And that sets you up so that you could be a rapper in 2022 and you could make millions of dollars. But if those dudes don't get jerked by their labels, if those dudes don't try to appeal to a much smaller audience, right? If they don't do those things and basically have a career where they made dope music and not just stylistically, but even economically, right? Culturally in the public square, created they were those trailblazers that kind of made that path forward for these dudes to come up and make millions of dollars on. Yeah, they're gonna be a little dusty. Yeah, they're gonna, because everybody didn't make money. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect to MC Shan. I see MC Shan in these interviews, yo, he looked like the old grandpa or uncle that's drunk all the time,
Yeah.
that comes out to the events and he's just fucked up and talking shit. Like, I know that dude. And it is kind of like, fuck, dude. Like, when you talk about hip hop history, yeah, you put Shan in there is like, yeah, without MC Shan, I guess there's a lot of stuff that doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Arguably, you could argue that KRS-One, he would have had a career regardless, right? But that rivalry helped shape him and catapult him. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like if you take any one of these dudes out of the mix, you don't know how it all plays out. And if you're and this is what I love about hip hop too, is that you could, if you meet another hip hop head, and it's happened to me so many times, you could be from a totally different part of the planet. You could have a totally different upbringing and experience. You know what I mean? And you immediately have a rapport. You know what I'm saying? You immediately have some common themes, some common ground that you could build on. Like and anybody that's in that kind of consciousness recognizes that, yeah, there's dudes that didn't get a lot of shine, but arguably you don't get all of this shit that you love later on without these dudes doing what they were doing. And there was, especially like in our era in the 90s, there was always paying homage and respect and understanding that these dudes did what they did. Like I think even I think Diamond D used to take Busy B around. You know what I'm saying? Like on tour, and looked out for him and make sure he had money and shit. Like, like all of these rappers could do that. I mean, just think about if you're worth $300 million, right? You can't give Grandmaster Caz $1,000, $1 million, give Shan $1 million. Like
That's
if
what I'm
you
saying.
really respected this culture and all of this shit that you say, and that's why the black shit don't mean shit. Like blackness, on the strength of black, everybody's full of shit. Cause you talking about hip hop billionaires now. There shouldn't be anybody dusty. Like but if you talk about these dudes getting money, a lot of these dudes aren't thinking like, yeah, I'm appreciative. I got more money than I'll ever be able to spend. I know these dudes. Jay-Z may have said a line like, I'm charging this because of what they did to Cold Crush or whatever. And maybe he is doing shit behind the scenes. But what I'm saying is, there's so much money generated in hip hop with such less effort that if there is people that contributed and they're starving or they're not living as comfortably as they should be, that's 1,000,000% the culture's fault. It ain't nobody's fault but these dudes who are making money and not taking care of these dudes that laid a path for them. You know?
Yeah, but there's not a lot of motivation for it because, like you said, people will try to lean on this concept of blackness and togetherness and how to look out for each other, but that's farcical. Like we understand what humans are and what they do and how they look out for themselves above all
It
else.
doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to be. The people who choose to do that are just personally aligning themselves with different things. And we haven't been pushing that. No part. When Grandmaster Caz was rapping at the clubs, he wasn't trying to pay homage to nobody who came before him. His entire job was to destroy you so nobody ever wants to hear you rap again. When Busy B was the man, Kumo D came and canceled his ass like 50 did Ja Rule. He was trying to, I mean, I don't think he wanted him to like literally die, but he was trying to make it hard for him to get work. He was trying to make it hard for, I would rather get hired at the next party than Busy B. It was about killing everything that came before you, stepping on their legacy, and completely getting rid of these motherfuckers. Get them out of here. Now that you're the old head, you expect young people to hand you money and make sure you good because you invented something? You were trying to empower yourself from the beginning. If you look at some of the politics that took place in a lot of these groups, what broke the groups up? Money. We go on a tour. I'm the MC. You just a DJ. I'm supposed to get paid more than you. They couldn't even figure that communist shit out amongst themselves. So now,
Right.
the
How many
greater
two-man
society,
groups broke up?
right? Now the greater
You know?
society is supposed to come together
You know
to
what I'm
fund
saying?
your
LL Cool J
lifestyle.
owes cannabis some money.
No, LL Cool J dismantled that man in front of the world and ran game on us and destroyed his future of having a career on purpose.
Any career. Any career.
Just to continue being considered the number one battle rapper. Like, he wasn't. Well, okay. You know what? Let me fix that. I definitely heard the conversation that LL and Cannabis had behind the scenes. And how sincere it was, I don't know. We'll never know because we didn't see it come to fruition. Have you ever heard the conversation them two had on the phone before the diss record came out?
No,
No, that audio's out there.
Yes. So Cannabis and LL Cool J had a phone call. It sounded like it was Cannabis recording because you could hear his voice clearer, and LL sounded like he was on a speakerphone. He was expressing to LL how he looked up to him forever, and like, man, when you said that, it just hurt me. And LL wasn't dismissive of Cannabis, but he was dismissive of the severity of his verse. He was like, bro, don't nobody give a fuck about that shit. Just let it all die down. We'll do a song together. We'll go on tour. We'll get some money. Like, it was his maturity in the game speaking. But he wasn't, I don't
Right.
think he dumbed it down enough to the level where Cannabis could really understand it. He was like, yeah, the streets is going to talk. That's what they do. Fuck them, bro. Like, just let it chill for a minute. I know they're going to tell you to come back at me. Don't do none of that. Just let it rest, and we'll come back and we'll hit them together. We'll make some fucking money. And Cannabis, he was out in the street. He hadn't made no money yet. And everybody's like, yo, what you gonna do, son? What you gonna do, son? So he did the diss record, and then,
He never made any.
and he never made any money ever. So I don't know if LL would have really extended that olive branch, or if he was just brushing him off because he was a little guy, and we don't know. But also I'll say that LL being the titan that he is, he didn't have to lie to you. He was under no duress to pretend that he would make up with Cannabis or offer him anything. He could have just said, fuck
Right.
you, I'm going to dish you again. So I don't really see what the motivation would have been to lie, but he seemed like he did have something that he knew about business that we can make the most of this. It's some wrestling shit, bro. Like, look, let me body slam you, right? And then right before next match, we going to have a big pay-per-view, and Cannabis just wasn't hearing it, bro. He just wasn't hearing it. But I definitely heard that conversation. So there's that. But at the same time, like, you can't expect people to come in. Well, I mean, you could expect them to, because it would be a better, objectively better way for the culture to exercise itself. But people haven't shown this respect to anybody. We talk about how hip hop is this aggressive, bite your head off culture. When did we become the kumbaya culture that pays the rent of our elders? When did that happen? It hasn't been established. The people who talk like that are the people we call lame, like Mos Def and Talib Kweli and J. Cole. Them some suckers. But the people who say, yo, I'm going to shoot up your mama house, they sell the most records. So where is this culture of compassion coming from? I mean, it makes sense. It makes logical sense that we would do that as a quote-unquote culture or a subset of society. It makes perfect sense. But where have we cultivated that to make that be the norm? We haven't. Grandmaster Flash wanted to kill every other DJ but him. Now it's like, oh, y'all should pay. It don't work. It don't work. You can't wait till you're being led out to pasture to say maybe we shouldn't kill our old horses no more.
I'm just saying, there's all this talk about paying homage and paying respect. I think we still have to talk about like some of the dirt that was being done and kicking people off that we shouldn't pay homage to. I.e. Africa Bambaataa. I feel like it's just like, so if we're gonna have this talk, why not have like a deeper talk about it? Like,
Because nobody wants to be held accountable.
You know what I'm saying?
KRS-One said, excuse me. KRS-One said, the worst thing that ever happened to blacks in America was when Sugar Hill Records got started. That's what he said. They took black people's money. They had all the dopest artists at the time, and they jerked them, just like record labels have always done. Like, they did business as usual. And he was saying it as if they had a greater responsibility to the artists and to rap and everything else because they were also black people. He said that $10 billion a year that hip hop is generating could have been money for black people. That's black people's money. I think that's a cop out. KRS-One's out of his fucking mind. What makes you think that $10 billion would be black people's money? It would be the rappers and the record labels' money. The rappers right now are making hundreds of millions of dollars, and all they do is buy $50,000 necklaces with it. Where is that
Right.
trickling down to black people's money? That's some goofy shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that everybody's rhetoric is super duper on point when they're broke.
Right.
And as soon as they cross that threshold of money, they don't give a fuck. Because there's been enough money generated, right? We're talking about, at this point, billions of dollars is in the hands of black people because of black music. Whatever shit you could say in the past, yeah, Jews were jerking us and taking all the money and blah, 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 blah. Contracts were fucked up, lawyers was fucked up, and we trusted and we got jerked, and okay, cool, I got you. Yep, it's ugly, the blues, jazz, whatever. speed through the hip hop. And now in 2022, it's like, okay, whatever shit we were talking about that was fucked up decades ago, that shit is not applicable now. Like, the money is in your hands, massive amounts of money, life changing money,
Or independent money if
building
you're good with it.
infrastructure type fucking money
Yeah.
that is available. And of course, a couple of $1 billion when you talk about building a city, yeah, it's not shit. But when you talk about creating jobs, I mean, if anybody was worth a fuck and really believed any of their rhetoric, at the very least, I'm going to MC Shan and I'm like, first of all, I'm gonna buy you some teeth because I love you. Let's get the implants. Let's get you looking right. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. Next thing I'm gonna do is, yo, here's a $250,000 sign-on bonus, and I'm gonna hire you at 60 grand a year as a consultant or some shit. Stylistically, just come through,
Right.
make appearances, do this. And is he really? Because it's the same game. It's what and this is what I'm talking about when you people say, oh, the power, the structure, and this is, bitch, that's you now.
Yeah.
If you were a smart rich person, how the fuck do you think they're laundering money and getting money to the people that they love? Hey, Hunter Biden, why don't you be on a board? Why don't you be on a board to a business that you know nothing about? At least Shan knows about hip hop. So you basically giving him, hundreds of thousands of dollars for free, but you basically saying, yo, you earned it. Dude, I'm worth $500 million. I can afford to enhance your life and a couple of other rappers. So if anybody really felt any kind of connection to the culture or any responsibility, yeah, maybe you're not going in and buying the projects and renovating it and changing shit, and maybe you're not taking money directly like that. But at the very least, for the people that did something within that community and made noise and made a path for you to walk, you at least go back and hang. I do think that's the righteous thing to do. And if any of the rhetoric was sincere, you would see more than that. And so that's why that's definitely a reason. Like, I could, I have a lot of respect and love for Diamond D, because he didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? To be like, no, I'm gonna pay homage to the old heads, and I feel a responsibility and a connection because I recognize, like, I have a path because of what this dude did. You know what I mean? And even in getting opportunities for other people. Fat Joe was a terrible rapper. Fat Joe was a terrible rapper.
Great
Yeah.
businessman.
Oh, I love his business acumen and the decisions that he's made. But he was not a good rapper. He was a hard-working dude with a vision. He was like a roadie for Diamond D and shit. And he would go, and he was just, hey, I'm gonna get on and I'm gonna do my thing. But it wasn't like Nas, where he was just an immaculate talent and everybody was running after him and wanting to work with him. He was a dude who's like, look, I'm gonna make this work, and even if I'm just okay, I'm gonna keep doing my thing. And when he found Pun, and Pun started writing for him, he went to the next level and got more notoriety and kept doing his thing or whatever. And yeah, he had a way more successful career than I would have imagined just from listening to Flow. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
if you would have
yeah.
told me this dude is gonna be like on the level of Nas and Jay-Z in terms of relevancy and longevity, I'd be like, no fucking way. First of all, this shit is way too violent. Like, this is ridiculously over the top violent. And he's not even that great. Like, some of his punchlines were corny as fuck, but he stuck to it. That dude didn't have to create an opportunity for nobody. Just like Diamond D didn't have to create an opportunity for him. So I do think there's certain people that do have a more in-depth love and feel some sort of responsibility. I just don't think there's enough of that. But the rhetoric would make you think that it's just ubiquitous. And it's like, look, it's not there. There's no loyalty to anything that you could attribute to the Black Dick Cloud voodoo doll. There's nothing in terms of, like, culturally that you could attribute to it, that there's a love and a respect there. It's just not. And I get what you're saying, that the competitive nature of it, right? And really, I gotta, I'm gonna fucking battle you to the point that you don't exist. Nobody's gonna want to hire you. Nobody's gonna want to work with you. Yeah, that competitive spirit was there, but so much money has been amassed at this point. Like, it's just a matter of people having the vision and the ethics to distribute it the way that it is. Because, dude, you're never like at this point, it's just numbers in a video game. You got the new high score. Like, unless you're eating fucking dinosaur eggs for breakfast out of the Smithsonian every morning, and fucking buying a new Fabergé egg every 12 hours, you're never gonna run out of money when you talk about hundreds of millions of dollars.
Niggas gonna nick.
Oh, shit. What a what an anchor! What an anchor for that whole analysis. Niggas gonna nig.
Tiger, bro. Why do you have a tiger, Mike Tyson?
Because you can.
Because I
Right.
can.
Because you
Right.
can. This is humanity, and the sooner people recognize that and stop pretending that there's some real underlying compassionate energy, like the real deal is you have to create that. You got to cultivate that. You got to lead by example with that. You can't just assume that it's automatically there because you're not the same color as your historic oppressors. You're like, oh, taking advantage of people in the record deal, that's some white stuff. And this is the language that they use, like, but it's not true. As we can see, this is what people do to each other time and time again. And even when the people get in position to make the money, all of a sudden that money don't look so long. Give Talib Kweli $50 million, and see if he automatically goes to the streets and just starts clothing and feeding and housing people. He gonna be like, well, yeah, you gave me $50 billion, but then I had to pay taxes, and then once I get the house I want, I'm gonna need another 50 at least before I start making sandwiches and shit.
But this comes on part of the consumer too, and the intelligence of the consumer and the people giving money. Because in any other organization, like, people just hand, Dr. Umar money or whatever. But if you got like a life insurance plan or a health plan or something, they give you like quarterly statements. They're like, hey, we paid out 30 million in claims this year, and our current value of our plan is $700 million. You know what I'm saying? They're saying, hey, here's what we paid, here's what we started out, here's what it's increased. We invested this money into the market. This is the return. This is how we're going to make sure the plan remains solvent. Like, people think, oh, it's a healthcare plan, so I pay my premium, and then if something happens, you give me way more money. Well, how does that remain profitable? Because there's a plan. They understand, here's how much money we need to invest. Here's how much money we need to have in reserves. Here's how much we need to charge every month. And a lot of times when people hand money over to these people, nobody's asking for accountability.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I want to see the fucking plan. How much do we have? Where's the money going for expenses, right? But nobody's holding these people, these grifters, accountable, who are basically putting that rhetoric in people's ear, and people are handing over money and nothing's happening. I used to have like this idea. It's like, look, if you really wanted to get money to artists, there's got to be at least 5 million hardcore hip hop heads worldwide, right? Easily. We don't even got to go worldwide. We can go in America. There's 5 million people who know who Spoonie G is, who know who the fucking poor righteous teachers are, right? There's 5 million people. If those 5 million people said, you know what, for the good of the culture and the values that this culture is espoused, I'm gonna give $10 a dime bag, 2 cups of coffee now. For $10 a month, I'm gonna pay my dues into the culture and amass wealth for a plan, whatever that plan is. Building infrastructure in fucking Liberia, revitalizing the Bronx, removing all of the gang members out of LA, whatever you think is going to help the black community, right? But whatever values that you espouse through the music and the culture, if 5 million people said, yo, $10 a month, that ain't shit. Think about how easily you waste $10.
Right.
That's what, am I wrong? 50 million a month?
No. Now you
Right?
can't. But people are gonna start counting that money a lot differently once you put like you said, when you start getting into accountability, what's going to be done with it. Let's say people are gonna start counting the money differently. If you kill Jeffrey Dahmer and then 20 years later a movie comes out about it, people will definitely flood your commissary. They'll be like, "Oh, I don't give a shit why you were in jail. Let's just send this guy money because he killed Jeffrey Dahmer." Or if you call some black women nigresses in your bar and kick them out because they wanted you to change the radio station, people will flood you with donations because you stood your ground and you didn't take no shit from the woke mob. But if you like, look, this is what we're gonna
And
do.
you said the funniest word in the English language.
Nigress,
Oh
I
yeah,
love it. I love
Negress.
nigress. That shit's hilarious. It's not even
Danny DeVito
offensive.
says it. Danny DeVito says it in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's not even offensive. It feels really smooth. It just rolls off the tongue. Negress, like
Negress. I had to look it up. I'm like, is this a word?
It
Hell
is
yeah.
some highly distilled Hennessy.
yeah,
Some
it's hot.
cognac.
Yeah,
It is
that shit's funny.
smooth.
It is. It's
It's
funny as
regal.
fuck.
Thomas Jefferson had to make that word up.
Probably.
But look
It was
at
like,
dude, you $50 million a month. $50 million a month is what? 600 million a year? I don't. If I've got the numbers wrong, correct me. This is 5 million people giving $10 a month, $120 a year. That ain't shit.
Right.
That small amount of people giving a very small contribution, but being aligned for a common purpose and a common value system, how much money could you generate? And if 5 million people committed to do that, you could take the money directly to the artist and say, look, I know you've been jerked, and the industry was as such that there was an opportunity for you to be compensated, because back when you were doing your thing, hip hop wasn't what it is now, and it didn't have the ability to generate the wealth that it does now, and you didn't get you didn't get a share that was proportionate to your contribution, because that's just how the economics worked out. But out of a moral animus and a obligation based on principle, we're gonna pay you $20 million for this album, and then it's exclusive. You know how they did at Wu-Tang Once Upon a
Yep.
Time in
Yep.
Shaolin that Shkreli bought?
Yeah.
You could have some shit that's like, for the next 5 years, this is exclusive to these 5 million members. You know what I'm saying? You could transfer huge amounts of wealth to people that you wanted to, right? And beyond, okay, well, we're taking care of the artists that got jerked and weren't treated right. And if we really want to put our money where our mouth is beyond that, when you start talking about righting wrongs or creating alternatives, you know what you could do with fucking $600 million a year in terms of creating programs, building projects, businesses, job opportunity. You know what I'm saying? If people were really, really serious at all about creating shit and changing shit, it takes not a whole lot of people, but it takes a lot of people. 5 million people is a lot. The planet's population at one point wasn't anywhere near 5 million. But relative to the amount of people on the planet now, 5 million ain't shit. And 5 million people bound in common cause with a common purpose. And if you had it in the right kind of organization, no disrespect to Dr. Umar, right? But the school ain't built, right? And money's
No
handed over and shit
disrespect.
ain't happening.
all disrespect.
Well, I'm not going to. I like some of the things that he said. Some of the things he said is
Look,
ridiculous.
I love
but-
the psychiatry, the psychiatry and all that shit that he says, but like the school hasn't been built, my brother.
Listen, but I'm not gonna single him
LeBron
out.
got a school.
Did you
LeBron has
think
a
if
school.
you give $50 million to King Noble black supremacy that he gives a fuck is gonna do anything for anybody? Hey,
No.
it's $50 million for the month.
Nah, I'm giving my money to the guy that has the school built already.
Listen, you need some Jew shit. Fuck all this. The Jews are gonna steal shit from us. No. That's fine, but get some Jew accounting and some Jew money handling. Like with that same shit of, I need to know where every dollar goes. Like, and there's certain shit, and you see it in the consciousness that they're trying to associate, like with that black, the African American Museum. Where they were like, linear thinking is white people shit.
Yeah.
Being on time is white people shit. Financial responsibility is white people shit. No. It's successful enterprise shit. It just makes an enterprise successful. So as long as you want to identify that shit as white or Jewish and say, well, we're different from that, you're going to keep yourself from successful shit. But if
Yeah,
you
most
had that $50 million and you had it in the right infrastructure where there was a quarterly report of accountability, hey, here's what we took in, here's the expenses we paid out, this is how far we've come with this, like a plan is supposed to, then I think you would see things get done more effectually. But that comes from a greater appetite for progress from the people that are preyed upon. That you can't put that on the grifter or the leader. That's people who are willing to part with their money and not ask for anything in return. Yo, you got me in an emotionally charged state of mind. You said some shit I like. You exploited the fact that I'm angry about a lot of shit. Here's some money. I guess I don't give a fuck if you do anything with it other than just enrich yourself. But if you had 5 million people who were serious about holding people accountable and willing to put up $10 a month, you could pretty much do whatever the fuck you wanted to do to take care of hip hop's dusty heroes.
Okay, Chet, but we'll add this question to the analysis. Does that mindset injected into hip hop, does that change the music? Just having people who think like that, promoting those types of ideas and thoughts, do you get to also have that? And while you're promoting and making money off the most ignorant and destructive shit ever known to man.
You know what? Listen, you may not ever be able to change what people are going to be attracted to.
Right.
Like you just may not be able to do that. But I think it's an infinitely better position if the consciousness of the entertainers and the musicians never moved into a place that it took responsibility or it gave a fuck about shit. Which brings to my mind Coolio, who just passed away. I went back and I listened to a lot of his shit. I'm like, you know what? Coolio was actually pretty corny and positive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
Like, I'm listening to his lyrics and I'm like, yeah, he was actually not a complete piece of shit.
As a
But
party guy, a lot of partying, and of course the thing that we know him best for. Like I don't know,
Paradise.
I don't know if that song would exist outside of Dangerous Minds, white
Yeah.
savior concepts and shit like I don't know if Coolio just writes that song and it be a hit without being attached to Michelle Pfeiffer saving ghetto children from themselves. I
No,
don't
it
know.
can't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it would have ever
I
done
don't
what
know.
it did.
That Stevie
It's-
Wonder sample is the shit though.
Oh
That-
yeah, yeah,
That,
absolutely.
that might have been a hit regardless. I don't know.
Yeah, we
But
don't
But
know.
if they
Maybe not as
intertwined,
big.
it would have never
Yeah.
happened without the other.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
That's the
Probably
question.
right.
Because most
the
most of
hip-hop
hip hop
history.
just don't want to hear that. Not most of hip hop's fan base just doesn't really want to hear that shit. And I have to say that the generation
Murderers.
the generation that I grew up in, I think, and I know this is gonna sound like kind of arrogant and shit, but I think the generation I grew up in was one of the first ones to make that realization at such a young age. Like we didn't have to get to 40 years old to realize that we didn't want to hear gangster rap and we had Black Thought, we had Mos Def, we had all of this really intellectual, really dope shit, Rakim even. So most times people don't land on this until they're our age now, but we kind of made that transition at 20 21 years old. So but even then we were being pushed out of the way immediately. They were like, look, you can talk all that smart shit, backpack shit all you want, we going to this Little John concert. They drink liquor out of a gasoline container. So they were a lot
It was the clothes. It was the clothes.
they was a lot
That's
more
weird with the
entertaining.
clothes.
It was a lot more entertaining. So do the fan, and I'm not saying you can't have one without the other. I'm just saying if you would cultivate that foundation of those people who create, and like Cyril saying in the comments here, that's a DAO, that's a decentralized autonomous organization, and that's what they're building with grandmothership and how to distribute money to the people who we feel like it's
Right.
owed to, the indigenous population, all that kind of stuff. This is what has to happen for this culture, for humans in general to have a future, is to start to reach back, and like that's what I think, because you can't just stay. How long can you? I think it's unsustainable to just be in this fuck you, hooray for me place. But we'll see. People have done pretty well with it so far. But if you inject that into the culture, does that change people's minds to the degree where they don't want to hear this other music anymore? Or do you separate the people who would be giving you the $10 a month? Like, are they going to give you $10 a month when they're listening to Little Uzi, whatever, talk shit?
Maybe not. Maybe not. But the fact is that those people are still going to be successful, and that may always be the popular music, because the reality is there is a common denominator, And the more people you appeal to, the more money you're gonna make. Like, I saw Ari Spears on that Vlad interview, and he was like, "Look, there's people that just showing up to sitcoms, and they're making $1 million an episode. I'm making maybe 20 grand a week on Mad TV. I'm up at 5 in the morning. I got to do impressions. I got to do improv. They're just doing these simple setups and punchlines, really corny, stereotypical sitcom shit, and they're making more than me." And I get his argument. If you look at the work expended, I'm doing more work, but it's clear that this work isn't as valuable in the marketplace as what they're doing. So a part of it isn't just being talented, it's a part of, can you get people to pay attention to you? And the more people you attract and the more people that pay attention to you, the more wealth that you're going to generate. So I agree, it's easier to attract the masses if you're drinking liquor out of a gasoline can, right? Than if you're talking about, what I'm saying, that you're
Right.
Browns,
working from the
yeah,
perspective of being a
what the people
bullet,
wanna
a
hear,
straight
sell
bullet
it.
coming out of a gun. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Somebody could hear that, like, oh shit, he rapped like he was the bullet. That's some really creative shit. So it's hard, it's gangster. You're talking about gun violence, but you're talking about it from the perspective of the bullet and talking about the havoc it's wreaking. It's a more artistic way and a more nuanced way to come at a subject matter. And you know what? It attracts maybe 1/5 or 1/10 of what the gasoline drinkers are. And that may be hundreds, if not thousands of years in the making before humanity evolves where that's not this. But can we agree that it's an infinitely better
Oh,
situation
absolutely.
that if that money's set aside, right? Because the dumb shit is still gonna be the dumb shit. But where we're at now is the dumb shit is magnified. The great intelligent shit is marginalized, and there's nobody with money who's sincere, who's fixing anything.
Right.
So if I lived in a world where people still loved the ignorant shit, but the intelligent people had some kind of the sincere, I don't want to say intelligent, the sincere people. The sincere people had some sort of infrastructure and a commitment within ourselves and not just giving the attention to the grifters. And that in itself is kind of an indictment against the masses as well. Because how come if a righteous person or a sincere person puts their flag down and says, look, we're going to do things the right way, send us money, we'll be accountable, here's the things we'd like to do, you're not getting as much money coming in as if you come in and be like, look, the white man's the devil cave beast, he mouth kisses dogs and wants to destroy us all. We invented spaceships, let's go back to Africa. You say some crazy shit and you ain't going to do anything for any, but for some reason you attract way more people. The fact that Tariq Nasheed is a millionaire who's ostensibly not really provided anything really life changing for people.
And he says he doesn't want to be any leader. He doesn't want to be a name on the street. He doesn't want none of it.
Right, but he wants
Still
the fat in his
talks
pocket,
every
and
day.
he's done a great job. He's
And I
done a
respect it.
great job
I respect it.
amassing followers and getting money.
He
Right,
got the FBA thing going. He got that shit going,
right.
going strong.
But what if somebody was sincere in that same position and wanted to put the money somewhere positive or amass wealth? Hey, I'm not just doing this to enrich myself. These ideas that I'm talking to you about, I'm not putting these out here just so you can like my tweets and send me money so I can live more lavishly. I'd actually like to partner with other organizations and people that know how to build bridges and electricians and and actually craft something for
You're making me
ourselves.
hate Elon Musk even more now because like, what is this man doing for the planet? And we
Well, look,
expect these, and we're expecting these rappers to do the same thing.
well, I don't want to say
The
I'm
positive
the
ones.
rappers to do the same thing. I'm just saying there's so much inaction and conscious fucking rhetoric in these circles that amounts to nothing practical being done. And if something was at least practically being done, I would find it easy to stomach all the other ugly shit. And I wouldn't care that the culture doesn't change in mass, but the wealth that could be generated and allocated to making pockets of change, I think that's a better situation than what we have now.
And also, I think that hip hop culture, counterculture in general, has a higher expectation because they set themselves apart from everybody else. So when you look at the dominant culture, right? They have people who have been milking society for money and giving almost nothing in return for decades, for generations. You got the Red Cross, you got the breast cancer pink ribbon shit. You got so many institutions who've done this for so long. But if you look at the people who critique and criticize them, they say that's just par for the course. That's how they do it. While they're trying to tell a separate story about everybody else. That's not how we are. That's not what we do. This is white supremacy. This is this, and that. So you have a higher expectation. Okay, like you said with Tariq Nasheed, right? If you positioned yourself in a similar way and say, yeah, I am a leader. I'm going to take this money. I'm going to do this with it. I'm going to fix these things. Those people would hold you to a higher standard than they do Umar. No, people don't. Nobody's asking en masse for Umar's bank statements. Nobody's asking where's the money. Not really. Not enough people to make it an issue. They just keep giving him money and keep inviting him for interviews and letting him talk about the dangers of interracial relationships and not being like, so where's the school, B? Nobody's doing that. But if you actually positioned yourself to do something good and you had the real intention to do it, this is the way the simulation works. They want to see your bank statements. Then they would come at you like, yeah, you said you ain't Tariq Nasheed, so what you gonna do with that $5 I gave you? Yo, get the fuck out of here, bro. You would have to completely put yourself out on Front Street. You'd have to, but then again, you have a higher standard because you're placing yourself in opposition to the people who are already there. That's why hip hop should do it, because they're the ones that's been complaining about it for so long, but they have so much money at their disposal. Jay-Z's still rapping about who did what to who, but you're a billionaire. You're a billionaire. And so far that I've seen, I personally don't see him being tied to any issues that's been solved or elevated. Because I mean, he started Tidal, and Tidal fucks you just as much as everybody else, right? Am I wrong? Like, Spotify, you got to get
Rock Nation, people leave.
Of course.
He's not really
Of
doing
course.
nothing.
Spotify, you got to get 300 and something plays to get $1, and Tidal, you got to get like 180 now, so you got to get 200 plays to make $1. Okay, well, that's a little better, but what's the difference? What's the difference? It's nothing significant.
Listen, it's righteous to get jerked by a black dude.
Yeah, that's better. That's definitely
listen,
better.
if I got ripped off by Leor Cohen, fuck that devil. I'd rather get ripped off by Puffy.
Right.
Get ripped off by black people. That's
Right.
the extent of black consciousness in hip hop.
It's
I
a
want to be
fact.
robbed by a black man.
It's a fact. You can't even argue with it. You can't even argue with it because and then when you ask people what's cracking and why aren't you doing this and why aren't you doing that, they'll just be like, "Bitch, I'm drinking cognac," and then everybody will cheer for them. I ain't got for real. That's how it is. Like, oh, what is Elon Musk doing for the planet? What is Puff Daddy doing for the planet? Making hits, bitch. The fuck.
Didn't Usher make like an 8-minute,
Yeah.
like an 8-minute infomercial
Yeah.
for Hennessy or
Now,
some shit?
for cognac, and it's funny you say that. I was listening to that last night. I was about to clip that up for a video and do some Mid-Journey shit because we was talking cash shit about Usher, and it sounded a little hatery. That's my second, my second opinion to myself was like, I don't know, this does sound kind of haterish, but the fact that you just pulled it out of the ether just now tells me this needs to be our next clip.
Yeah,
And
fuck
he-
Usher.
he did. He made an
but
8-minute
just-
commercial for cognac.
But just imagine, just what I'm saying. Everybody's full of shit. Just I can't imagine a scenario where that's pitched by anybody and it just doesn't come across as extraordinarily racist.
Right. It's the
Get
dumbest
black
shit ever.
people to sell cognac.
By
Do it.
and the way that we're gonna get them to sell it is we're gonna talk about the cultural
The history of
exchange.
racism in America, right? How
The
we,
cultural exchange that took place while American soldiers were stationed in France. The cultural exchange is they made the alcohol and we drank it. So we got to know each other really well while we were over there. Yo, get the fuck out. Go that way,
While
B.
they're getting pussy for
kind of a
chocolate
thin
bars.
it's a flimsy premise.
It's unbelievable. 2 weeks of shooting and nobody got a light bulb over their head, not once, to be like, you know what, this shit sounds kind of bad. They're like, nah, fuck it, just keep soft shoeing for those baguette devils. keep soft shoeing, right? You know what I'm saying? Just get paid. Just get paid. This is what we've been talking about the whole time. Get your money, fuck everything else. Get your money, fuck everything
That
else.
Uncle Scrooge safe. Go
Yeah.
swimming in those corners
Right. Right.
and fuck those white devils.
Point the finger at white people and capitalism until you get the money, and then swim in gold coins. That
I,
am I wrong? Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's working for BLM.
I
Right.
mean, but after they got all their houses and they didn't do shit, it just kind of gets depressing because you go through the catalog of heroes. You could call them like the heroes of the faith. Like if you're
they're
a hip
they're
hopper,
dead.
Malcolm X is a hero, right? But if you look at all the people that came to prominence and they had careers talking about the same sort of ethics and struggle, like nobody's actually been sincere. The people that have been sincere
Are
have
dead.
been taken off of here.
They're
The
gone.
people that aren't sincere are rich and live a long life and they never do anything for fucking anybody. And then you do kind of start getting the Illuminati conspiracy vibes because you're like, are we really? And so the only people that are going to make money are the people that are pretty much guaranteed to never actually fulfill their promise and do any of the change. Like it's just so that I can have this higher status and live an insane lifestyle.
Right.
Because you're talking about some of these dudes are worth more money than companies traded on your fucking stock market
Man,
app.
three of them together could buy a fucking island
They could buy
and
a
create a
state.
But
nation.
you don't
And
even
create a nation.
you don't even gotta part with the majority of your wealth. If you talk about a Kanye who's got like 3 billion now, I think says Kim took the other three. If he put up $1 billion, right? And I really thought he was doing his compound thing in Wyoming. I'm a little sad because I feel like he's abandoned that. And I he is like
Man,
he
he
had
sells records. When he does all that shit, it's to
And
sell
big
records
shoes too.
every
but
time.
my twisted dark fantasy is an absolute masterpiece. Listen,
Yes, yes,
he
yes,
he
yes.
he
His
he
mother
wouldn't
took
have
his
to
soul,
part with
bro.
all of his money, and then you ask the people, hey, we all online talking about how all this is fucked up, this white devilry, this technology, this fucking mouth kissing dogs, fake cave living. Fuck this shit. We need something different. We need something better. We need to correct this. And how are we gonna do it? Well, we got the money, we got the resources, and you ask people to partner with you. You like I said, if you got 5 million at $10 a month, you have 600 million in revenue every month, and it's all tax free. Because remember, you're running it as a organization or a charity, right? Not as a business, so you're not even paying taxes on it. And you think about the amount of wealth that's generated and the things that you could do. You could make a mass exodus out of Chicago. Like you could really say, okay, for the people that haven't been completely like, look, you need to get out of that gang life and all that shit. You're going to Wyoming. For the people that
How'd
want
that
to
work out for MC
well, he didn't have Jews. Listen,
He didn't have a plan. He just hired 600 dancers.
Hammer? From
That,
his
yeah,
neighborhood.
that's all he did. He
right,
didn't have a
this,
place for them to go. He didn't have a long term plan. He was like, "Yo, just keep doing the running man, and these millions gonna keep coming in." That was an extremely short sighted plan, B.
right. But if he had somebody behind him, it's like, yo, why don't you start selling Hammer branded parachute pants? Why don't we got to be properly leveraged? You know what I'm saying? You can't afford 600 dancers. You can afford 200 dancers, and what we would have paid these other 400 dancers, we're gonna put this in the market. We're gonna put this in some real estate.
Right,
Like
right.
and I feel for the people that go from. I've come from a family and a neighborhood where there's no money. Nobody's giving me financial advice. I don't understand how money works. This all shit seems like magic to me. Like I don't understand it, right? And then all of a sudden you got millions of dollars at your disposal. That shit is tough. And it's also tough who to trust because it's also you could come up with a whole bunch of stories too of people of various races, black dudes, Jewish dudes, or whatever. When you talking in hip hop, there's a lot of stories of dudes getting money and a dude not doing shit who ends up getting the majority of it. And then the artist is left broke after, so long. Because, like I said, if you don't know what you're doing with the money and you don't have anybody around you that you can trust to advise you,
Fucked.
you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, it's tough. So I'm not bashing them. You know what I mean? It's hard.
Yeah,
But
That's why it's hard for me to have sympathy for the younger generation when they have like fucked up contracts. Like it's like there's too much examples and recent examples to like not make that mistake.
But they just want the money, and it's not just them. It's everybody at certain places, certain times. People are getting screwed on their salaries they accept at jobs. People are getting screwed on a lot of deals because they just want to get on. They just want the opportunity to make more later.
Yeah, man. And a lot of old head tricks that I've been paying attention to that like a lot of these old head rappers who like they so like they're not famous anymore. Atlanta made a joke about it with with your white avatar, but basically they're getting they sign like what 10 guys, and then one of them makes hot, and they're stuck with like a fucking 100-year contract, and so any money that he makes has to go to that person, no matter what record deal he goes. Like it's all bullshit.
Yeah,
It's all bullshit.
because it's white supremacy to get a manager and a financial lawyer and have a sound mind when it comes to reading contracts. That's white supremacy. These are the things that we're telling people that is not of your culture. Who you don't read a contract, you sign that shit, and then you go see Jacob the jeweler. What the fuck are you talking about? This is
Right.
how we do. So this is like I said, it's what's been seeded into the culture for so long. As it comes into fruition, people act like they don't remember throwing the seeds. I had a homie of mine post on Facebook about hip hop and how hip hop was dying and all of this shit. And he thought this was a flex too. Shout out to my homie. He said, my generation sold crack, your generation smokes crack. We're not the same. And I said, you were selling the crack to the mothers of the children who smoke it. What? Why don't you see this connection? Like you basically you're blaming yourself for the later manifestations of the shit you planted, but you're completely disconnected from it by now. So being a drug dealer is better than being a drug user. No, one implies the other. If you can be happy about being a drug dealer, what's the natural fallout from that situation? Yeah, you're gonna have a generation of children who are hooked on codeine and rapping about it. And
Right.
that's
It's
that
like
that's the death of the culture. But accepting the drug dealers and the prison shit, no, that's not the death of the culture. Fuck out of here,
nah, it's like bragging. Listen, I'm the rope. I'm not the noose.
dude. Right.
Like there is no noose without the rope.
Right. It's one and the same, bro. It's non-duality. You have to accept that. But I think the opportunity for change has never been greater. There are people. You look at the whole Dreamville, J. Cole, everybody he signed, JID, like that whole situation over there is running in complete diametric opposition to the old way, and nobody's talking about it. The only people who are talking about it are the people who are aligned that way anyway. You listen in the Dreamville, you see what they're doing. You'd rather hear J. Cole than somebody talk about getting high and shooting some shit up. So you're technically they're preaching to the choir, right? Which is not their fault, but that's who's looking into it to really get the vibe of it. So I think the same thing sort of happened with the neo soul movement, right? The neo soul movement, everything, but they were all signed to separate labels. But it just showed how they could all get together under this one ideology, this one banner, and then you see them go on a tour for cool cigarettes and shit, and you're like, what the fuck is? Wait, hold on. Are y'all burning sage or are you burning cool cigarettes? Which one is it? But Dreamville, in and of itself, should be a blueprint for anybody that's trying to get in the game and not get screwed and have a different aura about the music that you're making and the artist you are. I don't think criminals are always going to be criminals. Terrible people are always going to be terrible people. But for some reason, nobody's like bothering any of those guys. Nobody's like that. They're just not on anybody's radar. They're making big bread, but they're not on anybody's radar. But the rappers who are out here laughing about who died and who they're gonna kill next and wearing $300,000 worth of jewelry at a chicken and waffles, those motherfuckers are in the crosshairs constantly. But they would rather hire more security and talk shit on Instagram Live than to think about a way to pivot and shift and change the energy that they're putting out into the world. Everybody's just surfing that wave. They're like, fuck it, let's just keep it going and see how long it can last. The people who were smart enough got out of the game, even though they did it for a long time. They got out of the game, they walked away from it, and they changed their lifestyle. Very few people, I don't know about other cultures, but I know in our culture, very few people will come back from the spaces that they occupied and warn people what they're heading into. They just change and pretend everything's fine. Willie D, the Ghetto Boys, I talk about this guy a lot, but Willie D recently had an interview with Corey Holcomb, the comedian Corey Holcomb. And Corey Holcomb talk crazy about everybody. That's just what he does. He gets away with it because he's fucking hilarious and people like it. So I might have complained about this already. If I did, I apologize. But he was in the interview with Corey Holcomb, and Corey Holcomb was talking about Lizzo's body, and he wouldn't laugh. Neither was Scarface. They kept a straight face, and they looked like they were scared. They were scared to laugh about a fat joke about Lizzo. The same Willie D, a few years ago, not too long ago, made a song about killing coons. Not proverbially like killing the mic. No, we need to kill the coons because they are the greatest threat to our progress as a race. People who disagree with us politically, people who don't share the same opinions with us, people who shucking and jiving on TV for massa. We need to kill them.
No, son, fat women's gonna cancel his career.
But laughing about a fat woman's body, I can't go there. That I won't. That's where I draw the line. But if you on a Fox News show as a black anchor and you say, well, maybe the guy who got shot by the cops shouldn't have digitally penetrated his baby mama and then broke in the car to get a knife and try to stab somebody, maybe he shouldn't have done that. Maybe that guy shouldn't have done that. You should die. I'm going to kill you because you're a coon. But I can't laugh about a fat woman's body. Make that make sense.
Because Nas rightly prophesized hip hop is dead. It's dead.
Right.
The Ghetto Boys.
Okay, the Ghetto Boys.
I'm sure when there was protests, I'm sure Tipper Gore was like, yeah, definitely, we got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I don't think people heard their music and was like, no, this is fine. You know, they were definitely on the chopping block because of the religious right and the public opinion, the morality movement, right, that was trying to say, hey, this shouldn't exist. This music shouldn't exist. And now he's in a position where they rebelled against the popular culture and they're completely enslaved to it now.
Yeah.
So popular culture said, hey, I don't think you should make songs about murdering other black people. And they said, that's poppycock. We will absolutely make thugged out gangster music, and you will not stop us. And on wax, people are going to die, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then 30 years later, where you think, hey, I've gotten money, I've gotten more prominence, I was in a fucking movie. I was a pimp in Idiocracy. I have mainstream success, and now, well, not a peep. No rebellious spirit. No complete conformity. Complete fear.
His soul was gone,
complete cowardice. Complete cowardice. You know that bitch is fat, but
he wanted to laugh.
I'm sure that he did. And look, it's
the straightest poker face he ever seen.
Yeah, you should have seen them, bro. They were sweating and looking
Corey
oh my god,
killed
bro.
Corey.
They were looking off in different directions and wiping their forehead and shit. They was shook.
The camera angle was so quick on them because Corey, bro, come on.
Yeah, he was just staring at him and he kept making jokes. He was like high fructose corn syrup body. She got a high fructose corn syrup body, and then the camera goes back to them, and they're just like, I can't, please, just don't, please stop.
The same moral majority and white supremacy that was trying to shut your record down, all they did was change their branding to woke and enslaved everybody's mind. That's it. The outcome is exactly the same. We're going to regulate what you can think and what you can say. And we're just selling it to you as, oh no, it's black shit. It's not white supremacy shit, it's black shit. So I'm not properly black if I laugh at a fat joke. Because now blackness, and this historically has not been true, this is very recent, it's now been tied in with everything else. Body positivity, sensitivity, anti-homophobia, anti-racism. It's all lumped together in this one big political movement. And now a dude who really Do you think Scarface and Willie D have any sincere feelings about fat shaming or body positivity? Do you really think? And if so, do you think it's with the same intensity that they feel for black issues?
He was a
Really?
pimp and
I
idiocracy.
I just wouldn't believe you. I just wouldn't believe you. I don't think it would be sincere. And yet, they were brought to fucking heel and muzzled and silenced to the point that you couldn't have an involuntary reaction. Laughter is involuntary. If it's funny, it's funny. And nobody would be targeting Lizzo like they do or have the comments if everybody wasn't being told, no, this bitch is beautiful. And if you don't say so, it's like it's the same thing. You're a racist. I thought this was about her being fat. No, 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 no. This is all the same shit now. White supremacy is telling us that thin people are attractive. Oh, okay. Like it's all been shoehorned in to this one nebulous thing that you can't really define or pinpoint. It has no consistency. It doesn't have any rules. It's not sincere. And yet people that have historically gotten their money by being rebels and outspoken, everybody's silent to it. That's a I don't know. I didn't see the clip, but I'm not surprised by it, and I think it encapsulates
Oh, can you
everything
put it
about
up?
their
Can you put
consciousness
it up?
right now.
Can you put it up?
I'm looking, but I'm gonna have to clip it up and find it. What up? Because
Yeah.
I'm listening to this show and I'm putting my professional ear to it now, and I already have like 5 different sections I'm gonna cut and make shorter videos with, and this is one of them because it's an important conversation. I just but while we talking, like because I'm gonna clip this while we talking, I looked up the lyrics, some of the lyrics, and of course this is music. I get it, it's entertainment. You get to play a gunshot and say where the coon's at, pow. Like I get it, yeah, it's creative authority, but this is what he said in this song. One of the things he said. Check out this little bitch named Don Lemon. Getting stuck in the butt got your ass corrupted. So you could blame Don Lemon's homosexuality for his corrupted opinion, right? So that's fine. That's acceptable. I wish so now he starts talking about Stacey Dash. You selling out your people while the police murder them. I wish the protesters would have shot you in Ferguson. I wish it would have been Stacey Dash on the ground instead of Michael Brown, but with additional rounds. So Stacey Dash should get murdered in the street and shot by police because you don't like her opinion on society.
Willie D is gay.
That's the only
Willie
conclusion
D,
you can come to.
Willie D. I don't give a fuck how angry you are. You never shoot the hot chicks. I just don't understand.
The
I
Vikings know
don't
there's better
understand.
ways to use the hot chicks than to fucking shoot them. Ask the Vikings
This
about that.
this is absolutely retarded. I can't. And I love Willie D, and I respect his contribution. If he was broke and fucked up and dusty, and I made $100 million off of hip hop, I'd send him $1 million. I'd get listen, thank you. If you did nothing else, if you did nothing else, but the Ghetto Boys, you deserve this. Thank
Right.
you
But
for
but
contributing.
but once you rap Sambo die slow, you a coon, but refuse to laugh at a fat joke, I think I'm done. I think I'm
I can't
done.
take you seriously.
I
I
can't.
can't take your opinion seriously.
No. Nope. Your square's not a square, bro. Your square's an
Listen,
octagon, and you're dancing on it like a bear in a circus rolling on a fucking beach ball. No, you have no position. Nothing you say means anything until you explain why one is okay and not the other. I don't want to hear shit else from you. It's horrible. It's horrible. But this is the shit we got to deal with. Just for them to turn around and say, "Look, man, that's entertainment. It's just a song." they've been playing. They've been
That's
playing that game forever. They've been
they
playing that.
always do
These
that
motherfuckers will
bullshit.
cite. They'll say, "Well, fucking Al Pacino could be a killer in the movie, and nobody." Right, right. Because Al Pacino gets paid to make you believe he's something he's not. A rapper gets
They might
paid to make you believe that they're telling the absolute truth in every line that they say. That's what their thing is. If a rapper got out of the studio talking about some gun banger shit and then took his fucking backwards hat off and put on one of them old English caps and grabbed a pipe and was like, "Oh, good me, that was a extremely harsh session. I'm gonna have some lemon juice for my throat." They'd be like, "Yo, this motherfucker's a coon. Kill him."
It's called a bowler, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, okay, a bowler cap.
The
But
hat, a bowler. Yeah, yeah.
but they would fucking call for his death. What happened to it being entertainment and it not being real and citing actors to try to? It's all bullshit. It's all smoke and mirrors. Nobody means anything they fucking say. It's all garbage. They're gonna stay right where they gotta stay to catch the most money that's raining from the digital ceiling. The internet, the algorithm is spitting money onto them, and they're just going to move the basket to catch the coins that are falling. They don't stand on nothing. It's garbage. Very few of them, rather. Very, very few of them. Most of them are just being human, and this is the box that they've chosen. But you can't take none of this shit seriously, bro.
Look, as soon as I get this organized and we get our first 600 million, I'm gonna enlist Charleston White to become a rapper.
Oh
And
man,
he's
Charleston
gonna
White,
be.
I'm gonna invest $1 million on that one.
Listen, he'll be
You
a
sold me
rapper
on the
called.
getting a Jew partner. So you've already sold me.
Oh yeah,
Charleston
we
White.
already got Race Traders. Race Traders already had a logo. It's up and running. We've been talking about this for a long time, yo.
You
Race
sold
Traders
it,
Financial
right.
Agency,
You
yo.
sold me. It's a wrap.
But betray your race and save the world. That's it.
It's the only way forward.
Get your financial future in the high gear.
Yeah, Race
But
Traders.
listen, he's gonna like Confederale is the name. And I joined Federale and Confederate as a Confederate soldier. And Charleston White
Is it
he's gonna be a
Confederale?
rapper. And instead of like making songs about killing dudes like with guns, he's gonna be hanging dudes. Like he's gonna be the most racist black rapper in it completely take on the norms of like whatever your stereotype or envisionment of the most racist pre 1865 white man thinking. He's gonna embrace it all, and he's gonna make these hard ass songs with hard ass lyrics, and then we're gonna have to ask ourselves, why am I so much more offended by a black man killing black people this way with this philosophy?
Right. What's the
Why
difference?
does this song bother me so much more? So I see this dude with a chain in a Bugatti in front of a strip club, and he's definitely promoting killing black people. But I see this other black dude in the Confederate Greys rapping about racistly killing other black dudes, and it just bothers me.
And the
It
people that
bothers
he's
me.
killing are not randos. They've all been convicted by a jury of their peers. He's a state executioner.
Right.
It's legal. It's all legal. He's killing absolute criminals. They're rapists. They got to swing, and that's who he's killing. And you would still hate it more than you hate I'm smoking on a pack of whoever died last week. That for some reason is party music, but this guy executing criminals while wearing Confederate grays, that's
But it's
cringe.
just music.
Yeah, it's just music.
But it's just music.
It's entertainment.
Just music. It's entertainment, and it would and I would love to see the uproar because the whole thing is like, yeah, of course I'm snitching to the police. I'm telling on everybody.
Yeah.
And he's just the anti hip hop. Like if you got to get your fix, if you got to get your violence, listen, he's talking about cross burning. He's talking about lynching. People are dying in this music. It's like, no, it has to be gang related gun violence. That's the only cool way to kill black people. You can't make a song about killing black people in a racist way, even if it's from another black person. That's just not hip hop. It's
Yeah.
like if the end result is dead people, I think
all
we're
the
kinda
same.
split hairs.
Yeah, Charleston White is the truth. He's a gift to humanity. Protect Charleston White at all costs.
And he knows what he's here for. He doesn't.
Yeah, I love
I'll
it.
tell you.
I love
This
it.
is my character. You niggas love it. I make money off of it,
Yep.
and I'm gonna continue to nick.
And I'm gonna send you to jail. I'm gonna send you to jail. And you know what? You know what I love too? What was also extremely amusing? Seeing a 65-year-old Crip tell Charleston White that he ain't shit. And you like this dude 65 been gang banging his whole life, still ain't learned shit. You still think you're a gangster, you're a repeat criminal, and you sitting here telling the guy that says I'm calling the cops on all criminals that he's wrong. I love it. I love the delusion of the senior citizen gang member. These motherfuckers are horrible, bro. Horrible. They need to be eradicated. They all need to go to
And by
Violence
the way,
Island. Just get them out
If
of
you
here.
want to go down that rabbit hole, there is a whole YouTube page channel of these guys who just promote violence and talk about violence all day long.
Yeah, making
They
big
just
money
make-
too, I bet.
Making big YouTube money right now.
Right. Right. I love this is the algorithm though. This is the algorithm. I'm not gonna. We're gonna have people who are talking about their experience, talking about art, doing all kinds of shit, and we'll leave them at the low end. You know, if you get discovered organically, that's fine. But this guy's like, yo, I just got out of jail for doing a bid for 13 years, and I'm here now. Let me tell you right. Let me tell you about the time I saw a guy get shanked 400 times. That guy's getting all the views and making. Now you just made him a millionaire for going to jail and talking about what he saw in jail. Right. Anyway, I don't want to get riled up about this shit. It's unbelievable, bro. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
They're making millions.
Yeah. Those people are making millions.
Mr. White, we listen. I got ghostwriters on deck. We'll get you a Confederate uniform.
We could get him in Tampa, bro. We could start something.
We should. I need to figure out how to get him on the show.
I'm pretty sure he has a price right now. We just have to find out what his price is, because he's traveling everywhere. Like, he's hitting everywhere.
He might hook us up for the low because of who we are and what we stand for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even need the controversy. I just need to talk to him and really get into his head and understand some things. I'd love to talk to that dude. I'm gonna put that on the vision board. We're gonna see if we can't get Charleston White on the show.
Charleston White on the vision board, man.
Yeah.
Listen, if he's doing songs about killing dudes in a racist way, but let's say he's just killing gang members. That's his whole thing. All these people destroying the community, I'm killing them in violent, racist ways.
Right.
Yes, people are being lynched, but it was the dude that shot that 1-year-old in the stroller, or the
Right.
6-year-old in the back of the car at the McDonald's drive-thru line. Like, he's just a thugged out Confederate gray uniform wearing Confederate rally. I'm snitching to the police. Yeah. I'm an executioner on behalf of the government. We have to clean up the neighborhood. I'm killing all of the gangbangers. So there's clearly a line drawn in the sand. Y'all are selling drugs to the community and promoting not snitching. I'm promoting no drugs, as much snitching as possible. We're not killing the police, we're killing the criminals. And then hip hop officially becomes fragmented, and I guarantee you the most creative shit will come out of the new shit. Cause the other shit's been stagnant for a long time. Nobody's saying nothing new. It's all pretty much been done. But nobody would have ever thought at any point, you could go to any point in hip hop and be like, yo, the #1 selling artist is a dude called Confederate Rally, and he dresses up in the Confederate uniform, and that's his whole shtick. And he's a racist black dude against black gangbangers, and that's what he makes his songs about. That's the shit that's cool to him. Finding the dude that shot the 1-year-old in the stroller and doing horrific murderous things to him.
Listen, he's our Punisher. Charleston White is our Punisher. He's the Punisher of the hip hop culture, and not Big Pun. He's the real Punisher, bro. He's out here putting bullets in criminals and scourge of society, and calling the police and sending them to jail. When they outside congregating and they drinking 40s on the corner, he's like, "Yep, there's a disturbance on my block, officer." He's sending them to jail. Fuck him. Fuck him, bro. I don't care no more, bro. I'm past that stage, bro. I don't give a shit no more.
I'm choking, nigga. I'm choking. Oh,
Bro.
he's all right.
Bro, I got a dude that lives down the street from me that just moved into a place down the street from me, and son comes outside and plays the music in his truck as loud as he wants, as he can. It's just always just loud, bumping. All you hear is the vibration from this. You don't even really hear the music. It's always vulgar. They're talking about pussies and guns and shit like that. You know how many times I've in real life considered just being like, I should call the cops on this motherfucker, bro. I should. I haven't actually done it yet, but it's an authentic thought that comes to my mind. I'm not past that, like, oh, I'm black, I'm not gonna call the cops on people.
I've called the cops on people. I'm not ashamed of that, and I've called the cops on white people, but they pulled out a gun. So don't be afraid.
I just don't want the dude to die over music.
It's okay to call the police.
But listen, if
I don't think that's caring.
I've seen both sides, right? I've seen where like black guys sitting waiting for like a car, police. To the point the police is like, I'm trying to do my job. Why the fuck are people calling me for this stupid shit? To the point where like 2 fucking winos are fucking drunk, screaming out their lungs. To the point pistols are pulled out. And I'm like, no one's calling the police?
How do homeless people have pistols?
Bro, it's not homeless people. This is inside of a suburban apartment, gated community.
Okay, when you said wino, I thought you meant like they're literally like
see,
on the corner.
See, that's bigotry, bro.
Sir.
That's bigotry.
Bigotry.
He already were white in my head. They were always white.
It's bigotry. That's your
No,
dinosaur
sir.
bigotry. You could be a
I'm talking
wino.
about those white ones that dress normal, come home from work, grab that red wine, and get
Oh, man.
fucked up
Yeah.
like a bunch of Mexicans.
Oh, there's some more
But this
bigotry.
is, listen, we're not gonna save Babylon. Babylon is gonna fall. It needs to fall, and it needs to collapse on the people that are ruining it. And the people that understand that it's vile, they need to have an opportunity to go someplace else. And these rappers got the money. You could take out all the talent and potential out of LA, out of Chicago, out of the Bronx, out of fucking Charlotte, wherever you go, and there's gang violence and a really dense population where black people are suffering. At this point, we just need to come to the terms with we're not going to fix it. Hip hop, you're not going to fix it. You're not going to build a school. You're not going to go and start a clothing business or any other kind of business and fix anything and give people jobs because, like Nipsey Hussle found out, nobody gives a fuck. People will still kill
Also
you over
got
dumb
killed,
shit.
by the way.
There needs to be an opportunity to have a renaissance and a new and a better culture and let the old culture just die out. It's already killing itself. The problem is how do you get the potential out of there? Because right now the claim to fame is I am this and I am authentic because everybody that lives around me looks like me and is willing to kill people over really trivial shit. So that's my identity and that's what makes me authentic. I don't know how you divorce people from that when you're around it all day and it's ingrained. There are some people that make it out, but the people that are making it out are making it out on careers that are promoting the same shit that's keeping it in that condition. So I get what you're saying about trying to separate a higher culture from the music, and if people were going to be organized and do, pool their resources that way and have a plan and have an agenda that's positive, wouldn't that change the music or wouldn't that change the culture? At this point, I don't care if it does or doesn't, but if the money and resources are there to make an alternative, Kanye should be taking everybody out of Chicago to places in Wyoming and have a new culture and a new place to live and let Chicago just fall apart like the shithole that it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Dre, get the fuck out of LA. There's a whole bunch of dudes at Compton. There's a whole bunch of dudes killing each other over really dumb shit. And some of those kids got potential. And to guarantee that they live up to that potential, take them to a different coach in a different place. I'm sure there's a lot of nothing in Arizona, a lot of nothing in Colorado. Like you don't even have to move that far. Just the renaissance. If you care about these pockets of the population where we say this is hip hop, this is authentic hip hop. Oh, you from Baltimore? That's some real shit. You from Newark? That's some real shit. Yeah, people will kill you for no fucking. That's some real shit.
Yeah, yeah, that's the real shit right there. You could die for nothing at any given time.
Nothing.
That's some real shit.
And
And you
this
know what,
is
Dre?
ours,
Dre, you
and no
can
one else
leave.
have it.
You can leave. You can take the kids who want to go, the kids who have potential to actually break free of that shit. Like this, it's easier to build strong children and to heal broken men. You got to take them out of that, and you can still have all the shit that you think is cool. You don't have to stop building lowriders that bounce up on the two front wheels. You can still do all that shit just without the murder. You can still wear khakis really nicely creased and Converse sneakers. You can do all of that without the murder. Just get rid of the murder part and the drug dealing part. Let them wear khakis and dance on a ranch where there aren't going to be any stray bullets from AK-47s. Why not? He can definitely afford it, right? And if he can't afford it, put your money together with Eminem and the other people. Like, get them all together and do the. Why aren't
The
they
wealth
doing that?
is there.
The money's
The
there.
wealth is there for them to live incredibly exuberant movie star out of your wildest dream lifestyles and still have the money left over to get the ball rolling on some alternatives. And if you want to save that culture in America and you really care about the lives being affected by it, then the future is for black people in those cities to be transplanted to the country. Get the fuck out of that culture, let that shit fall apart. And you're
It's a
talking
brand
about
new Silicon
because
Valley.
listen, people talk about like I'm gonna come back and buy the block. Like I think Nas had a line, I'm gonna buy the block or some shit.
Fuck
I'm
that.
sure other rappers have said it too.
Rick
Yeah.
Ross.
Um, but you know how expensive real estate in Miami is, Rick? Like you know how many black people you're gonna be able to help if you buy the shit in Miami versus if you buy it up in the panhandle where there's nothing.
Right. And plus, the one in Miami is full of level 3 dreads. You ain't never gonna get rid of those motherfuckers.
You cannot.
Fuck the dreads. What about God? The weather is horrible.
Nah,
It is
dude. Yeah,
useless.
it's better ways to do that. You can buy a different block in a different part of the state that stretches your money 7 to 10 times over, rather than trying to
Yeah.
buy some shit in Miami. And it's all, like I said, it's all there. They're doing it for themselves. You know, they're buying properties and doing all this shit. They're creating. Rick Ross got cows on his property, bro. You think he
Bro,
don't know what's
do you
up?
see his house that he has in Georgia?
He knows what's
That
up.
belonged to Evander Holyfield. Like, come on, man.
He knows what's
He's
up.
the reason why Nipsey started doing what he was doing, because he made that song "Bye Bye the Black." Rick Ross know what time it is.
So either white supremacy is really good. They're batting 1,000 at picking which Negroes to allow to get rich because they know they won't do anything to help the rest of the black people. Like, that's the undercover shit that people like Tariq Nasheed sells. Oh no, they only give money to coons. Like, so they're either really good at picking coons, or this is just what humans do when they get money. Like DL Hughley. I'm in a different tax bracket now. I care about different shit.
My dog wanted it. We got to get that DL interview.
Nah, fine. The only reason to interview him is to find out. I want to talk about that the whole time. What about your new tax bracket made you stop
get it
caring
for you.
about children's breakfast programs? I need to explain. I need the long division on that.
Listen, I love you, hip hop, but you're just completely full of shit. You haven't lived
Facts.
up to anything that you've espoused or promised. The black man is God. The black man is God. The black man is God and has billions of dollars at his disposal, but the devil is too strong for there to be any effectual change. I don't know how God and the devil works in that equation. I don't remember any Bible stories where God really wanted to do some shit, had a whole bunch of power to do shit, but the devil just wouldn't let it happen.
Right.
I can't do it. The devil
Right.
is too strong. In the black mythology that exists in America, that a lot of it was incubated and fleshed out in hip hop rhetoric and culture. In that universe, the devil is stronger than God.
Yep.
The devil is the cause for everything. And if you really pick it apart and get to the truth of it, what you concocted is a powerless God. Not only is it a powerless God, but it's a God that's completely content to kill God on every song.
Oh my
The black man
gosh.
is God. I got 10 deity bodies just on my intro. Wait till you hear the whole album. How many gods get killed on wax?
God
And
killers,
so
bro.
listen, there's just no excuse at this point. There's billions of dollars that have been handed over that is exclusively in the hands of not just black people, but black people who supposedly have this hip-hop consciousness. This,
Yeah.
The people, the suffering in the projects mentality, the obligation to make fundamental change, and I see everybody standing in the same place with just nicer clothes on and nicer vehicles. But it's nothing. Literally
Nothing has
Something
changed.
changed.
So let me break this down for our brothers, the Hebrew Israelites, for the people who study Nuwabu, the conscious community. What my Yakubian friend here is saying is that the light of this world, the king of the universe, who emerged as a light being from triple darkness, the cream of the planet, the inventors of all writing, mathematics, alchemy, science, the king of all that shit, got tricked out of his birthright by a cave dog and hasn't been able to reclaim his rightful place in thousands of years. Make that make sense. I implore you, I challenge you, come on the show and explain to me how the melanated god of alchemical magic got tricked by a cave dog and ain't been able to take his shit back ever since. I'd love to hear it. And I feel like that's exactly the silence I'm going to get in return, because nobody has nothing to say about it. There's nothing you can say. One of these stories don't make no sense. Either that's not a cave dog, or you ain't the cream of the planet that emerged from triple darkness as God of the universe, the rightful controller of the universe. Something ain't adding up, brother. My bad. I guess that makes me a coon, and I'm pretty sure Willie D would have me executed for what
Willie
I just
D's
said.
he's got at least 3 songs that'll be dedicated to you on this
Willie
next
D
project.
wants me executed now, but
You will incur.
all I ask is that you answer the question before you execute me.
Yeah, just give me an explanation.
Yeah,
And it's just there's just no excuse at this point. There's too much money, there's too much technology for the rhetoric to be this impotent. Like nothing.
that's what that is.
Nothing.
That's what it is. The god of impotence.
The god of impotent rhetoric. No action. Like like there's just nothing. And you know and really the basically the trade-off was nothing will change, but there's all this shit that we'll be able to claim as ours. You can't say the N word, we could say the N word. This music is our music, this is ours. We can appropriate this, don't appropriate any of that. And we exist in this double standard. We want access to everywhere you are. We don't want you anywhere where we are. And like you said, standing on this rhetoric of just really extreme, you know what I'm saying? Just really extreme opposites, cave dogs, the cream of the crop. But 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 in all of that, in today's context, with all the money that exists, it completely reveals that everybody is full of shit. If we can't make anything fundamentally different with the technology, money, resources, ability to crowd fund and organize socially that we can, this is all unprecedented tools at our disposal to do incredibly world-changing things. If we can't do it in this context, then we can't. We just can't do it at all.
Right.
Humans are fundamentally broken. They're like, let's just give up at this point. Like or and I think this is the case. I don't think that's the truth. I don't think that we can. I just think that there's never really been a call to truly hold all of ourselves accountable to anything that's gonna fundamentally change anything. We'll be accountable, like I said, to be angry at the sweater, or angry at the H&M ad, or angry about some shit that doesn't matter, and somebody gets canceled, or Gucci discontinues a sweater, and you say that's a win. That's the fight. That's the fight that we're winning. Nah, it's economics, it's geography,
Yeah.
it's culture, it's business, it's building something outside of this thing that we've been taught to love. And there is like it's some hip hop shit to love a place on the planet that's infested with rats, that there's barely any economic opportunity, it's totally segregated, and there's not much opportunity outside of crime and violence. So and so to be authentic, I gotta be married to that. I gotta say that's nah, fuck that. Bulldoze that shit, let it fall apart. The people that want to come out of it, build a way for those people to come out of it. But stop being married to this idea that this is some shit to be attached to. You know, like
Yeah.
this it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense that we could have all of these resources at our disposal with social media, and all of these people that we see as thought leaders within the culture have more money than any, like, you're talking about unprecedented wealth in the hands of black people, not just in the history of like America, but like really in most of recorded history.
It's fair to say African
I don't know how many
Americans.
black billionaires you find. Yeah.
It's fair to say African Americans have achieved a Massa Musa status of richness.
Damn near. I mean, in comparison
mean?
to where everything started and the whole wealth gap idea, like people got a lot of bread right now. Even with inflation and everything else that's going on, just the average person living the average life, especially in places like New York, and people are, it's the norm to have $250 sneakers. It's not like cats is suffering like that where they can't even buy. That's the bottom level that they're willing to experience. They're not willing to go down to, well, I need to figure out a way to put a $40 pair of sneakers on. That's not even part of the conversation. We could talk about how much, whether you got jewelry or not. You might not have a Rolex, but the baseline is $300 sneakers. So I mean, you can. How much complaining can you really do? Complicitous. Something has to give. Either you're gonna have to stop complaining and pointing the finger at other people's cultures and the historical. Like I don't want to hear none of that shit no more, bro. I don't want to hear none of that shit no more. It's too many people go flying to Dubai. It's too many people on Instagram flying to Dubai, bro. Y'all out here chilling. You just don't have no responsibility, but the narrative still feels really good. You know, it's still part of the hip hop narrative to talk about dominant society and what they should have done and what all this shit, but not taking any responsibility for themselves. It's goofy, bro.
Mecca, Dubai. Get Kanye, get Diddy.
Oh no, fuck that, bro.
Send them all to Dubai.
Nah,
those Arabs love that type of energy, and then they could control it. All
Yeah.
the niggerish, and then they got so much. Yeah, they got so much money to throw at them. They're just gonna be like, hey, you know.
Yeah, that's probably true. They probably would love it out there because they do kind of idolize that really ultra rich life. And you know, Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder was on Math Hoffa's podcast talking about eating caviar pancakes in Dubai, just so you could come home and get in the booth, be like, "Yo, I'll shoot you in your face with a 45." What the fuck is the point? What the fuck is the point?
Forget Kansas, just ship them to Dubai.
Yeah, and stay your ass over there too, bro. What's the point of eating caviar pancakes if all you're gonna do is come back and rap about killing people and selling bricks of dope? How do you have the same? How does the same brain who raps about killing people and selling dope able to process the value and fine cuisine ideology and concept of something like caviar pancakes? If you was really thugging like that, you should have flipped that table over and got banned from Dubai. If not, if you understand what caviar pancakes are, you like the taste of it, and you can drink tea with your pinky up when you in the desert, why are you coming back over here with all this bullshit? Why are you coming back over here selling murder and drug dealing and prison culture to people in this country, and then you're going to go drink tea with your pinky out in Dubai? Fuck you, bro.
It's madness. I did like something that he said when because Math Hoffa did call him out a little bit on it. Like, this doesn't seem to make any sense. Like what you're saying.
Yeah, they was
There's
bugging.
some inconsistency here.
They was bugging. They was wilding the whole interview. They was just yelling and over talking everybody. And now, yo, son said, yeah, Tony Yayo was like, yo, we the reason why they call it Shot 97, son. You know what I'm saying? Had niggas up there with the bullets. And, oh yeah, I'm not glorifying it. I'm just saying.
Right, he did.
Bro, his heart rate got all high. He was sweating. Yeah, son, that's us. Oh, I'm not glorifying it. But yo, this is cognitive dissonance. You say you're not glorifying it, but that's you look how excited you just got when you said you the reason they call it Shot 97. There wasn't no remorse in your voice. You was happy about that. But I'm not glorifying it. Get the fuck out of here. I don't believe you. But we accept it. We accept, like, you know, Math did, you know, I love his show style. He's grown a lot on that show. He does call people out on a lot of bullshit. He seems like he wants to hear ways to take responsibility. But and I'm glad that he had them on there. It was a great look at the different minds and shit that come on there and the different ways that people express their history and their experience in the game. These motherfuckers is just goofballs. I'm sorry. Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder. Both, yo, move to Dubai and stay. They're both idiots, bro. They're idiots. I couldn't understand half the shit they were saying. They weren't making a lot of good points. They tell good stories because they've been involved. They've been involved in a lot of bullshit, and they survived it. So they're great storytellers. But they had no points. No, there was very little growth other than "Don't be like me." "Don't be like me" is the best thing that came out of that whole shit. That's all they could say. Everything else is goofy, bro. But these are our heroes, right?
50 was ahead of his time.
Yeah. He was obviously the smartest one out of the whole. Yeah, he was the one with the real smarts. That's because he was the one who got shot the most. And he was just like, you know what, I'm good. Uncle Murder got shot in the head. He still ain't learned shit. he might have got dumber. I don't know. He might have got dumber. I don't listen to him enough to know.
Could do that.
It can do that.
Sure.
But in his defense, he was mad dumb before he got shot. So I don't know which direction he's going in, but he don't seem to be getting any smarter. Fuck it.
There's just a part of it to move in certain circles, and I know, you know, Jay-Z, I guess, had conflicts with Dame Dash about this. Like, the reality is, if you're looking at your situation in America and you're talking about amassing wealth, life-changing wealth, money that you couldn't just save yourself and your immediate family, which it empowers you to change the lives of literally hundreds of people, if not thousands. When you're dealing with money on that level, like you can employ people, you can create livelihoods for people. And you know, Jay Z and some of the interviews that came out, Dame Dash complains or whatever. There was a different mentality how they would go in, and Jay Z and especially being older. Like when I was younger, I was like, yeah, like Dame Dash made more sense to me. Like, nah, fuck them. It is us versus them, and da da da. He's keeping it real. And then you get older, and it's like practicality comes into place.
Yeah.
And if you want to be able to change something and do something, like you need to make it successful. And so it really made me appreciate Jay-Z so much more to say like, look, I need to make these white people comfortable. If all we're doing is making white people with money afraid of us, how are we going to have any business relationships? How are we going to feel comfortable if I'm just basically telling you that I'm a murderous dude and I'll fuck people up for no reason? How is my accountant going to come to me and be honest with me about the money situation? Who's going to want to handle my money? Like, who's going to want to work with me and be close? Who's going to feel comfortable to sit down with me? You know what I mean? And have trust that we're really going to be able to make a partnership and do something that's going to make money for us all. Like, if you're a loose cannon and I got to worry about you getting involved in some shit where you're going to prison, you know what I'm saying? I don't know that this is a good long-term business strategy. So there is something to be said for playing chess and thinking ahead and realizing like, and 50 Cent did give an interview like that one time. I forget exactly how we worded it, but it was really about like, look, man, if we're really doing all of this shit that's on record, our lives aren't what they are right now. Like it just doesn't work. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Like you can't. So it's just silly for anybody to even think in that way. Like I'm moving in circles with people with serious money, and it's a different culture, it's a different conversation happening. And I do like when people give that insight and that reality to people. Like, listen, it is kind of just a show. Like it was real when I was out there and it was real, but I'm not in that place in life anymore. And it would be silly to pretend to. Like it's one thing to pretend on a record. It's another thing to like bring that crazy shit into the circles that I'm in now. Because if I did that, you know how much of the money I would fuck up, you know? And I don't think people are thinking in terms of like what it takes to not only amass that kind of money, but to manage it, you know? And I would really like for somebody to get on the other side of that wealth chase and actually have a plan to execute. That would be fucking wonderful.
And anybody who doesn't see the validity of learning how to play that game and use it to your advantage should find a book by Sam Greenlee and read it. That's all I'm gonna say. Find a book by Sam Greenlee,
Jay-Z 444.
and then find a book by Sam Greenlee and read it and understand the importance of these kind of things. If the world is really what you say it is, and you need to employ tactics and do all, there's a way for it to be done. There's an absolute way for it to be done, and it's extremely simple. All it involves is you letting people live, letting them do what they do, and trusting them to generate the resources and bring it to the people who need it and distribute it to them. So trust the process. Let that shit happen, because it has to happen one way or the other. I think leading by example is really the only way that any of this shit's gonna happen. You're gonna have to get out in front of it, lead by example. You're gonna have to be called a coon, and you're gonna have to accept it. You're gonna have to do shit like Terry Crews is doing. He don't give a fuck what none of y'all talking about. He's having fun hosting Dancing with the Stars. He's doing what he got to do, and then behind the scenes, he's doing what he has to do. Why y'all call him a coon, right? You don't have to appeal to the crowd or to the mob to get them to understand what you're doing. These are people who actually read the book Uncle Tom's Cabin, and they know that the word Uncle Tom is improperly used by people to disparage certain black people. They call him an Uncle Tom, and they either. It's just as bad. The ones who haven't read the book and used the term are just goofy. They're ignorant. They don't know any better. But the ones who have read the book and still use the term, they're even worse. That's the problem. That's what's going on out here. You trying to wake up people who are pretending to sleep. Don't waste your time. Let them call you a coon. You don't need their camaraderie. You don't need to be connected with any of them. Do what you got to do. Lead by example. And when you generate the revenue, see who comes calling. and then it's up to you what you want to do from there. But I couldn't give two shits, bro. I'm trying to get to that. Well, I mean, I have my own set of rules and my own set of morality that I want to connect to the things that I'm doing. I'm not just willing to do anything to get the money, but overall, using the system that I adhere to get to the money is my main concern. I don't really give a fuck what anybody thinks about it. I don't care about what you call me while I'm building my shit because I know what I'm doing. I don't need, even if you, because I know that there's no real culture, there's no real society in that sense to oust me from or ban me from, or like you can't really do it. There's no black culture, there's no black America, there's no real cohesive thing. It's just a word. It's a nebulous idea that floats around on people's tongues when they need to get people riled up and shit like that. But it doesn't exist. I do what the fuck I want. I do what I want. And then if it's worth anything, if the culture and society that they put together is worth anything, you won't be able to draw these boxes around groups of people by color any more than you could say, oh, the gay community is good or the black community is good. If it's actually good, it's going to be aligned under something higher than just being black. We've already proven that shit don't really matter. It doesn't matter what you call yourself or what you identify as. What are your actions about? So when you start putting together societies like that, when you start putting together the society for compassionate people, call me. If there's a color attached to it, miss me. That's all I'm saying. I don't really care. I don't really care about none of that other shit.
Subscribe to my OnlyFans, then holla at me.
Yeah. Watch some. I'm gonna hire some women to step on fucking lemon meringue pies. So fucking, if you're into that kind of thing, holla.
Sign up to my OnlyFans. We'll debate there.
Yeah, for real. Pay some money to debate me. But yeah, other than that, yeah, fuck it, bro. I'm gonna have to relax now. I'm gonna have to hit some Delta 8. I'm mad at Willie D and shit like that. I gotta chill out, bro.
Yeah, this is unlike. I think we poked a lot of nerves today. I apologize.
Nah, yeah, a little bit. Some of this shit does kind of get me riled up because it seems like the truth is so obvious. It's so simple. Just look right there. Like, just do that. But no. Yeah, we can't. Well, it's going where it's going. Who knows if it's good or bad? Maybe this kind of outrageous shit is what leads people to their highest vibration, to their highest good. Maybe they see themselves in this light one day after people like us talk shit, and maybe it doesn't end up in an argument where people call each other coons and Uncle Toms. Maybe it ends up with somebody being like, you know what, you're right. Y'all said some good shit on there, and I'm gonna take that and walk with it. That'd be beautiful. That'd be absolutely beautiful.
If being a coon means amassing wealth and giving people an opportunity to exodus out of war zones and build something better, I'm all for it. Sign me up.
Yeah.
No,
if
you gotta be a real
non-coonery
nigga.
means
You gotta have 10 wives,
right,
8 kids,
co-signing
30
the
child
dead,
supports.
the,
Sell
the
your
dead
sell
baby
your
at the
soul for
stroller.
64 million. Go for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm just you have to make the contrast that stark.
You have to.
Like, you have to. And there is some gray areas. There's some nuance on a number of issues, but the reality is that this is how we're lining up the terms, and like I said, it's speculation now and it's debate now. Run that algorithm. Google has the technology.
Absolutely.
You could run through Black Twitter. You could get all the articles that are circulating online, all the YouTube opinions, right? And by virtue of sheer numbers, right, and how prominent you see certain themes, you could basically construct the consciousness of the black dick cloud voodoo doll.
Absolutely.
We don't have to speculate what it is. We have the technology to really put it on Front Street to say, okay, this is what we're propping up and saying that we're in defense of. And I can't make sense of any of the logic here. Here's what the identity is as Google basically puts a mirror up to ourselves. Well, basically for the last 10 years, this is what we've said. This has been our priorities. I think that would be very interesting to have that on the record, to see what the important things are.
Absolutely. This is something I'm gonna start tweeting about and see if I can get somebody. It's like somebody on that Tommy Sotomayor train might know the technology to actually get this shit done. And as ugly as it's gonna be, sometimes you gotta hold the ugly mirror up in front of yourself to see and address what it really needs to be addressed. And this could be one of those opportunities. So, like I said, I think we did great. We, sometimes it's good to get a little bit riled up just to, clear everything out, blow the steam off, and shit like that. We probably created at least 7 short videos from this one podcast. So I got my work cut out for me, but I'm happy. This is the shit I didn't even intend to talk about some of this, but this is the shit that I think needs to be talked about. I think everything that we said here is sound logic. So anybody who disagrees will have to really take a closer look at what their premise is that you really disagree with. Like, what is it that you take offense with? People having higher expectations of themselves, people creating opportunity for the people who need it the most, people actually abandoning destructive elements of culture to move to greener pastures, literally and figuratively. Just let me know what part of that you don't like. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be more than willing to bring you on the show to speak your piece. Word is bond. Let's get it cracking. I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Side note, if you can't find that Willie D clip of him not laughing at the fat joke, just get the Putin annexing Ukraine, and then you see he is swapped back to the people. Same look.
Same look. Yeah, I'm gonna get
Same
those
look.
and cut them together. Like I said, when I
Same
make
look.
this Willie D clip, I'm gonna tag him in it too, just because I know how to wrangle the algorithm now. I'm gonna tag him in that shit and see if he has anything to say. Oh, hey, you never know, man. This could be our introduction to the big stage, talking shit to Willie D. You never know. So
Hey.
you know what I'm saying? Let's get it cracking. But I'm gonna chop that up, and we gonna make a couple clips, and we gonna see where it goes, man. Because academics opened up a can of worms, and I think it's a great conversation. I think this could be a gate to pass through for hip hop to mature and start doing some things differently. You know, we have the reach that we have right now to get in contact with people. If we get enough people to hashtag or at them on Twitter, they can really hear these things and at least maybe take it into consideration or tell me to shut the fuck up because I'm broke. Either way, it's worth it. Either way, it's worth it. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this one goes. And I absolutely appreciate you, brothers, for making time to critique the simulation as we see fit, and continue to come up with extremely useful, practical solutions that could be implemented by anybody who has the resources and the mind to actually enact change. That's what we're here for, and I think we've continuously done it, and today was no different. I appreciate y'all, man.
Listen,
Absolutely.
we appreciate you. The flag is planted. I need 5 million people to send me $10 a month. Be committed,
Yep.
and you will get a report quarterly to know how the plan is going.
Right.
There's no grifterism. There's full transparency. And if you plant the flag, I'll send you my $10 a month. I'm fine with that. I
Do
just
it.
want this shit to be fucking fixed.
Prove us
Sick of
wrong.
all the empty rhetoric.
Prove us wrong. Give us an opportunity to prove that everybody who gets money forgets all their morals and runs away from the responsibilities that they have to the greater society. Prove it. Send us $10 a month. Once we get up to 5 million, see if we actually do what we said we were going to do, or if we go start doing coke off the bar at the local strip club.
Coke off
And
the
if
bar.
and if
Interesting.
we do listen,
Interesting.
and if we do what we said we were gonna do, then give me 5 million people more.
Right. Send more money.
$10 because
It's-
we've shown you we're gonna do
we
it.
did it. Yeah, we did
And
it. So now we need 5 million
start
more.
calling these other dudes out as fucking complete grifters.
Right.
Like you gonna tell me the dude giving you the rhetoric but pocketing all the money, he's not a coon?
Right. Right. Right.
That's the dude. He says the stupid ignorant shit that everybody claps for is keeping the money for himself, telling you the shit that you want to hear. That's a false prophet. And taking the money and not doing shit. Like, I think we have enough of those people. I just want one person or one group or one movement that's on some hip hop shit that actually wants to live up to these ideals that all of us have been kicking around for the last 30 or 40 years. Like, this has been an ongoing conscious dialogue that for the longest nothing's gonna happen because there's no money to back it up.
So check this
You know
out.
what I mean? That
Charleston
shit doesn't
White.
exist anymore.
Charleston White as president, Crit Mac as vice president.
Crip Mac.
Wait, who's vice president?
Who is Crip Mac, bro?
I
I'll
don't
let
know.
you. I'll let you guys go down that rabbit hole, but he does go to the
Oh.
community and feed the poor.
Okay.
He does go to the community and feed the poor. He does it all the time, every time. He's in jail right now, free Crip Mac. But he does go out. He does go out to the community. He does go out to the community and makes food, makes plates, gives it out there to the community. You know what I'm saying? He's 5'5" Crip. I'll let you guys go down that rabbit hole. But once you go down that rabbit hole, Charleston White and Crip Mac as vice president.
So I don't think that just the fact that his name has the word Crip in it.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
he's gonna mesh
He's
well
not
with
gonna make
Charleston
it.
White.
I think those two would be a perfect combination.
I don't think he's
If
gonna make
Charleston
it.
White has said he would love to work in management. He has gone on record and said that.
Oh well, then maybe you're on the.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out. But speaking of like, you said the guy who's pocketing all the money isn't that a coon? Like, let me just, I'm just gonna end on this note right here. Dr. Umar at one of his highest iterations.
Before I continue with my message, thank you, Sister Avanti, $10 coming on the Cash App. Thank you, sister. Next time, make it 20, but thank you for that 10. I know you barely had that. Thank you, sister.
I can't wait.
Before
I love that, bro. Yeah, thank you for that 10, sister. I know you barely had that, but next time make it 20.
my
Still no
gosh.
school.
Oh my gosh.
Still no school.
To be a
Anyway,
man, to be somebody who gets donated money and tell that person, you should have gave me more.
and I know you barely had what you gave me because I know my demographic. I know you poor, sister. I know you ain't got it, but next time double it, bitch. The fuck? Yeah, that's not a cool, no. That's not a cool. That's not a cool. But either way, that's a high note. We can end it on a high note before I get mad again. I want y'all brothers to enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next build, man. And eventually, I'll drag my dinosaur bigoted brain through the rest of the Dahmer series. And
I gave up.
We can
I
talk.
was like,
Listen, I got to episode 8, and I watched every single man-on-man scene. I didn't turn away.
Gosh, dude,
I
you
got
are
the full experience.
you are highly evolved, brother.
but you enjoyed it.
I-
You said it. You
I
said
just,
you
of
said
course
you
I did.
enjoyed it.
We invented gayness. We've invented gayness and exported it to the whole
See?
planet. It's in all of us.
The cave dog wins again, bro. We
Listen,
couldn't even
every
watch it.
cave
We was
dog
cringing.
is a little gay.
Look at that. The cream of the universe. Cream of the universe cringing, turning that shit off. Like, I can't. The cave dog's like, bitch, I'm about to watch 3 episodes in a row.
I invented this.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't cook without boot stoof. I gotta have it. My favorite seasoning. Let's get it.
Oh, I love it, man. I love
So
it.
I'm on. It's only 8 episodes, right?
I think
I
so.
think it's 10 or 9. I think
8 or
it's like
something.
9.
I don't know.
I
Okay,
said
so
if
I
I said if you watch 1 and you watch 8 together, it's a lifetime movie.
Right, just those two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got. So I just started 8, so I guess I got 3 more to go.
Yeah.
But by
Alright.
the next one, I'll have it all done. Dude, if you could stomach it, if you could get through it, then I guess we could chat about it once we've seen.
Yeah,
all of it.
I'll try. I'm gonna try. I got a couple days, and I'll try to get through it. I really will.
I could
I'm
probably
letting
watch
you
a
know
couple more.
It gets much worse.
Oh God.
Like there's a full on dick shot coming.
Oh,
out.
see,
See,
yeah.
now you just stopped.
I can't,
I'm
bro.
letting you know so you can look away. It's coming.
I'm done.
You can't prepare for that kind of shit,
You
man.
can't prepare. Just they always like just to flash it in your face and unbeknownst.
Dude,
They did that shit with Marky Mark, bro. I was so pissed. I was a kid too. I was like, what the fuck am I watching at this young age?
Fuck, dude.
Dude, there was so much Game of Thrones unnecessary nudity in this shit. I was just like, we didn't need that. Like, I didn't need that, but they found a way. Full on.
That's Netflix's niche, by the way. That's what they love to do. They love to cross that boundary.
Well, this is the only dick I've ever seen on Netflix. So I was a little shocked. I didn't think they were gonna go there.
Gosh. Like I said, I'm gonna try. I'm not making no promises, but I'm really gonna try to evolve here and get through the rest of it. But it's
Yeah,
difficult.
you might have to give me a couple generations, though. I might get into it, though.
Nah,
Listen,
just all you gotta do is watch some Pornhub to cleanse your palate.
But that
Dude.
makes it even worse because that's more dick. Like you just have to go full on lesbian at this point.
Right? Yeah. There you
You
go.
gotta erase yourself.
You gotta lean in, bro. You gotta lean in.
Yeah. The only way out is through. The only way out is through. You got to go deeper.
Some clogs, cook some chicken with no seasoning. Just get in the whitest mindset that you can, and ride the ride.
Just boil some chicken with no seasoning.
Boil, boil it, but barely boil it. Make
Yeah,
it a
yeah.
little.
Medium rare boiled chicken,
Unsweetened iced tea.
unsweetened iced tea, no seasoning, and wear a snuggie, and you should be right in the right mind.
You
Listen,
did wash the meat, by the way, straight from the pack.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Unpack it,
Yeah. Of course.
Straight to the pan.
Of course. Pour the juice in the water when you boil it too.
Exactly.
listen, boil some boiled chicken tartare, wearing a snuggie, and sharing an ice cream cone with a dog.
With a dog.
With a dog licking your face.
Yeah. Yeah. You're basically white.
Pass it around like a blunt. You take
That is
two
as
licks,
white as you
give
can
it-
get.
Yeah. You can't get no whiter than that.
Dog lick your face. That is the whitest thing you can.
Yeah. You can't get no whiter than that. If you do that, you can definitely watch the whole Dahmer, for sure.
You can make it, and that's what's gonna galvanize your resolve. Is
All
this
right.
little walk we've prepared for you?
All right.
of-
So I
of
got my
boiled-
homework.
boiled meats.
I got my homework.
You definitely have to clip this.
I got my homework, bro. I'm going in. But yeah, man.
Appreciate y'all. If y'all are on GTA 5, to shoot me an invite. I'm gonna go do some virtual crime.
Are you on the PlayStation or Xbox? I'll hop on.
I'm on PlayStation.
Is it crossplay?
It might be.
I don't know. It might be. I'll be honest with you. I'm doing the story mode now. I haven't even done the online thing.
Or you're doing
But-
all that? Enjoy it.
Dude, it's one of the most amazing games I've ever played. It's mind blowing.
And just think, 6 is coming.
Yeah, in
I know.
5 more years.
Dude, I slept on this shit. I mean, it's been out for like 10 years, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
It's
That is
been
their
out-
game plan. That is their game plan at this point.
It's smart
That is
because
their game plan at this point.
Red Dead Redemption 2, I play that shit again right now, bro. They know what they're doing.
Grand
When they
Theft
take
Auto
their time,
makes their money, and they can make they can go super artsy and make like cool shit like he said, Red Dead Redemption. It's they have the perfect.
yeah, they know
perfect
how to.
money
They're
makers.
doing it right. It makes sense because they know what they're doing, bro. That shit's smart.
Dude, they make fun of everybody, the liberals, the conservatives. Like they point out how the FBI is behind a lot of the crime. Like the routes they went with their story I was like, wow. They basically the Mark Zuckerberg equivalent in the game world gets assassinated.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
Yeah.
wow. Like y'all really, I can't believe this wasn't. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not in tune. Maybe it caused more controversy than I thought. But I was just really shocked so far. I was like, damn, y'all got away with a lot of shit in this story. Jesus.
Oh yeah, dude.
So I don't know. I was very impressed. I don't have much time to play too many games these days, so I'm like 10 years late on this, but I got it for $15.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I love waiting for them sales, bro. Steam sales. I'll get it, bro. I'll watch a game until it's like 87% off. I'll be like, Scoop,
Yeah,
give
I'm
me
the
that
same way
shit,
too,
bro.
yeah.
I'm patient. But yeah, man, I'll talk to y'all brothers soon, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the evening, man. I appreciate you.
Stay safe.
Appreciate you, gentlemen. Stay dangerous. Peace.
Peace.